guys for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank
We've been waiting on this one for quite some time.
warming up the crowd here. Jonathan, do you hear me here? 1, 2, 3, 4. You said it was low, holding down here. Any better? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A little more, Dave. More. Go up. Chelsea, we got a big crowd tonight. Big crowd. You guys did well marketing this.
Got the 3 biggest heavy hitters.
I can't hear you, Kelsey. How's that, Jonathan? 1, 2, 3, 4. Even higher, if you got it. You got some gain on that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tiny, you're next. Please welcome to the stage, Tiny. Yeah. How's that, Jonathan? 1, 2, 3, 4. You good? All right. I think we're good, Dave. All right.
It's cold in here. What are they doing to me?
No, I'm sweating.
What are they doing?
Really cold?
I'm just joking.
What's going on? Come on.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic laying on the table. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just a little bit ringy, slight bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, sounds good.
You want to bring it down, bring me down? You hear me in the room, or you just hear me talking? Yeah, they don't hear me in the speakers at all, which is probably best for them, at least for me. Microphone by my feet. Microphone by my feet. My foot mic. It's like my shoe phone. My foot mic. Good? How's that, John? Does?
Make the live streamers enjoy it.
No, you're saying it's louder? Huh. All right, good to go. You got the first one here? You have the first one here? Yeah. Okay. Coming out? Here's one. Okay, let's see what you second to get,
No, yeah, we have 4 minutes.
Okay, copy that.
We might be Gregor first, so. Gregor? Need to hear it coming. Gregor, Kevin?
Gregor worked at Oars. Yeah, just sort of how was interacting with that vehicle? Yeah,
No, you're right. It's too international. Kenny. Yes. It's international.
Just for international. All right. So was it just a memo?
It says that
It must have just been a generic
It
memo
says that
at this place.
well, I was looking at my itinerary. It says that it's on a COVID test request. So like all I just saw was I'll show you the thing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw that your site said that similar to 3 for like facilitators. That's the thing, I mean, like, if there isn't much to do with all the drop, I think that international state law is that other countries, and so we're across the US, and we're going to do years ago, okay. But, things open up, I don't think that's the
Should I leave this stuff out here? What's up? I'm here.
Gregor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, is there any doubt that the 2007 NCAA bracket at 149 pounds was clearly the most difficult bracket of all
God,
time?
man, that's such a tough call. The only problem I have, I will give them the 08 bracket. I think that probably squeaked it out a little on the 07 one. But that being said, there was zero mention of the 07 bracket. And most of those guys that were in the 08 bracket were in the 09 or 07 bracket. And then you add guys like Metcalf, Jenkins, Caldwell, which does do that upset a little bit. But I mean, give me a break here. We had a ton of guys at my weight that year, too.
It's funny, man. I was seeing you get fired up on social media. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know, I think about you as like not really getting involved and engaged.
I try not to.
But you got excited about that. I wonder, what was it about that? Because I think there's probably a lot of people that don't understand the pedigree of like where you were in wrestling.
Yeah.
Was that something that you wanted people to see?
I think the people who really understand what I was talking about in that 07 versus 08 bracket probably know where I stand in it. But a lot of the guys, even guys that I work with, some of these younger guys that I train or train with, you know, these high school wrestlers that I help out, a lot of times they like think like, oh yeah, I mean he kind of he must have won. He's pretty good. And like some people when I train them, you won the nationals. So I kind of put it out as far as like kind of a testament to how tough it was when I did win, because obviously Flow puts out this amazing show or documentary on the what's it called, the season, or no, the bracket, I'm sorry. And everyone kind of like, this is why I put it out. I remember why I put it out now. I got multiple messages, probably like dozens of messages saying, were you part of that bracket? And I was like, no, I moved up that year. But I won the year before in a bracket that was almost as tough. And I mean, I think if you had to say, and again, I don't know the exact stats, I went through it, and if you saw the post, it's on the post. If anyone's interested in seeing it, it's still on my Instagram and on my Facebook. But there's a statistical list that I went through and made about the guys that were in my bracket versus the guys that were in that year. And I think there were some more like, I don't know if this is the right term, but sexy names in the following year. But statistically speaking, it was almost a tie. So in my year, there was something like 8 national titles. In the following year, there was something like 9. Okay. And then there was something like, I don't know, 8 other national finalists. And the next year there was 9. And then if you count all the All-Americans that were there the year I won, there were more future and present All-Americans the year I won than the following year. I mean, I'll put it this way. Jordan Burroughs didn't place in my bracket the year that I won. And again, Jordan Burroughs did come into his own later on down the road, but that's a little known fact that people have no idea about. When I won the Nationals, Jordan Burroughs lost like at the round or two before I beat the guy who beat him. That being said, Jordan Burroughs is a lot better wrestler than I am. I want to make sure if he ever saw this, he's not hitting me up on Twitter saying, let's have another match. Because when we did wrestle a few years down the road, he beat me up a bit. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen you this passionate about anything other than fishing, of course. You've had a year and a half on the sidelines.
Sure.
Any amazing fishing stories during that time?
I actually just told a fishing story over in the other room. And this is probably, like, it's not crazy or like wild or zany, but it's a very kind of an impossible story for this to happen. But I got really into shark fishing this summer with my buddy Chris. They call him the Shark Man. He's like the go-to shark guy in Long Island. And he got me into the drone fishing. So you fly out the baits with the drone. He's probably going to kill me for saying this because it's kind of his thing. And but I got into it. I lost. No, it's legal. Yeah. We get permits for the flight and everything, and or for where you're flying it, and it's not in a restricted zone. So we fly the baits out, drop them over the sandbar, fly the drone back, but the line is attached to your pole. So you only are you're not fishing with a drone, you're dropping the bait. Because otherwise you have a 13 or 14 foot rod, you are never going to be able to cast that. You got a pound of weight and bait on the end of it. Good luck casting that. So you're not getting it out past the sandbar. Fly it out, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, we had a period of time, and again, this is his shark count, but I was part of it. We got over 100 sharks this season off the beach fishing this is where people are surfing and swimming. Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, no, well, you let them all go. We tag them and let them go. He has a thing with NOAA, which is the National Oceanic Association or whatever it is, and he works through them and tags the sharks. But that being said, we had a big sandbar or brown shark, reeled it in. We were taking a picture with it. Someone was taking a picture of us in the waves, holding the nose up, lifting the tail, getting the perfect angle, the wave crashing over the shark. Take the picture, say, hey, let me see that. And we look at the picture and we're like, what's that up in the background? And we zoom in on it. And up in the top, you can see a plane flying in the background. It's one of those like, smaller prop planes, and it's towing a banner behind it. And it says like, hashtag Shark Week Discovery Channel. Yeah. And we're like, oh, what's going on here? Is that real? So we zoomed, yeah, for sure. And then you look down the beach and it's still flying down. And when we showed people that, they thought it was a filter. We're like, no. This actually happened. Like, what an impossibility, you know what I mean? But as far as like my time, I wouldn't say away from fighting. I've been training, obviously, but we did have some downtime this summer. I was upstate and spent quite a bit of time with my family and my girlfriend and my friends from home, which is really nice. Otherwise, if this hadn't have happened, this is kind of the silver lining. Had this never happened, I would never had a 4 or 5 month stretch where I would go home and stay there. So, but my girlfriend got me into mountain climbing, so I've been doing a lot of that. So we're doing the high peaks up in the Adirondacks in northern New York. So we're working on getting all 46 of those done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the time off. I mean, I was surprised it was this long.
Yeah.
Did you intend for it to be this long?
No, and like a ton of people get on me on social media about that. And it's like, I guess, I don't really love to dive into it with people that are giving me shit online about being out for so long. And, they send the nasty messages like, how's retirement? Or have you woken up yet from Kevin Lee? And it's just like, I try not to get into it. But it's like, I guess to address that, I would have to say, I'm not like taking a break from fighting. I've been training and I've been trying to stay ready, but I broke my jaw against Kevin Lee. So I had a 4 or 5 month layoff as far as getting like touched in contact. You can't do anything. I was home getting clearance upstate New York from my, facial doctor that, gives you the clearance and tells the UFC that you're back for, ready to go. And that weekend, I was going to a ski resort upstate before I came back down after getting cleared. And that's when all hell broke loose. That was the start of the whole quarantining thing and the whole lockdown and stay in place. That weekend, it was 4 p.m. and the ski resort got shut down for the season. So we went home and I just stayed there, so it was unfortunate timing. And of course, people don't also realize, I'm not sure they know where I live. I live in Long Island. Like, we're talking about 18 miles from like epicenter of this whole thing, and again, I'm not like super worried about it. Like, again, to each their own, but it's hard to find like where to train and who to train with when gyms aren't open, so it's not something that I did on purpose, and it's not like I wanted to sit out. It's just kind of unfortunate circumstances,
It's interesting because that's, when I was, from the outside looking in, I thought maybe, difficult knockout, you're not used to losing.
Sure.
Wanted to take some time to mentally evaluate things, but really that was none of it.
None of it. No, man. I would have loved to been right back to training after I got clearance in March. I would have loved to come back and gotten a fight in the next couple months. It just was unfortunate timing, The gyms were closed in New York. And it's like then you got people sneaking around trying to keep a gym open and they're getting fined $10,000. So it was tough. And when things finally opened up, we figured it out and we got back on the pony. But it's like, I don't know if people understand if they're living in, wherever in the Midwest and it's a little bit more open. If you're in Long Island or the New York City area, you couldn't train, It was tough, man.
Well, now that you're back and you are able to train, I mean, is this one important to you? I mean, like I said, I know you're not a guy that's accustomed to losing very often.
Sure.
That was a difficult one. Is it important to get in there and like get that behind you or because of your wrestling mentality, like, is it already behind you?
I mean, it's been behind me. I thought it was, I would say in the few weeks following that loss, it was behind me. And I want to say this too. The way I lost was easier to accept for me. And I mean, people may be like, what is he talking about with that? But that was easier for me to accept than getting like beat up for 3 rounds or getting taken down and held down or, or getting just, if I had been drugged through the mud and then lost a bad decision, that would have hurt me way more. I got hit with a really nice punch followed by a really clean kick, and props to Kevin Lee on that, man. That was a beautiful combo. And I don't know if you could do it better than that. And it wasn't lucky. It wasn't I got caught. It was perfectly executed, and the credits to him on that. It wasn't like, oh, well, I had an off night. No, man, that was really solid on his end. So it was a little bit more, not acceptable. You never want to say losing was acceptable, but like, I didn't get drugged through the mud for 15 or 25 minutes and then, walked all over. That would definitely been effective to be a lot more, just because then you're like, wow, man, nothing I did worked. nothing that I could have possibly done would have changed the outcome of that fight, you know?
Did it change any things in the course of like your career? I mean, you know, at the time you were like dark horse title contender. We're like,
Sure.
man, this guy's going to sneak in the back door and you know, beat Habib or something.
Sure.
You know, so did it change anything in terms of like your career arc or what the goals that you have for yourself?
Well, I mean, a couple things I would say probably did, and not just that loss. I mean, anytime you're on the cusp of being in the conversation for another, you know, title eliminator or whatever the case would have been there, then obviously, yeah, it's going to change the trajectory of your you know, path. But also, so did, you know, 12 months of being on lockdown. You know, I think that probably has more to do with it. The great thing about the UFC and the fight game in general, but, you know, really the UFC is the fact that the 0 at the end of your record isn't all they care about, you know. And they actually said that to me, you know, a few of the guys high up said, you know, don't worry about that. You know, just keep performing and you'll be back in no time. And I think the great thing about fighting for the UFC and MMA in general is that you can erase all of that, the bad stuff, with a good performance on Saturday night. They only care about your last one. And that's the proof right here is I had 13 fights in a row with, you know, 5 finishes in a row in the UFC, and I lost once, and that's all people remember. So
Suck and never worry again.
yeah, you know, exactly. You know, and, I mean, listen, I get it. That's part of the culture, and that's what goes on Instagram. That's the trolling of, you know, what goes on these days. But all I got to do is show up and perform on Saturday, and apparently they'll forget about that one.
That's awesome. Last thing for me, then I wonder, because you're back now, big spot, right? Co-main event, ESPN.
Sure.
I mean, it's a big deal. So what's the goal here? I mean, is it just for you to get back in there and enjoy yourself, or is it to make a statement, remind people who you are, or what is the goal on Saturday, other than just to win, of course?
I mean, winning is really the only thing that matters, you know, and I would say, to kind of like parlay that, I would say that winning and looking good doing it, not being a boring fight, not being a cautious fight, not being a fight that I wish I'd done more, and kind of, I don't want to underperform. So I want to go out there and let loose, man. I want to, you know, show people that I'm the grappler in this division. I'm the guy who's, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of winning. Like you said, winning is the biggest, most important thing. Your hand raised at the end of the night is the most important thing, but I want to do it the right way with some conviction. No worries.
Hello. Yeah. You mentioned that, you know, this business is a what have you done for me lately business.
Sure.
Did you know that before the Kevin Lee fight, or did that loss particularly open your eyes to just how ruthless it can be?
Okay, so I want to make sure that I say that it's not the people that are actually in this business that, you know, it's the casual troll people on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, you know, platform they choose, that they, you know, kind of really aggressively go after you after a loss like that, you know, and it's like still 15 months later, I'm getting shit talked to me about that loss, you know, but these are the same people that are going to message me from a different account on Saturday night if I win, you know, so it is those, you know, but that comes with it. I'm not bitching and complaining about it. I know that's part of it, but it's just like, come up with something new, man, you know, so.
Is that the worst part of it, just hearing the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, and you know, Joe Rogan says it all the time. You just can't look at the comments sometimes or open messages that if they're not from someone you know. And I've been getting better about that because it's just like, holy shit, man, this is a lot of, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Last thing for me, I know you're something of a creature of habit on your fight weeks.
Yeah.
So has this experience been kind of a mindfuck to deal with, or have you just been able to roll with it?
Just rolling with it, man. I knew it was going to be different coming in. So I kind of accepted that, and I knew that there wasn't going to be a whole lot that I could do to force my way this week. But we've really done a good job of being, as a, you know, we're acclimating to the changes we have to make as far as getting all of our workouts, getting the right food, getting the right sleep. We're making do. Cool.
Just a couple
Yeah.
real quick ones. If you could, just taking a look at your opponent, because I know you're very, very smart and you're very analytical when it comes down to your opponent.
Sure.
Break them down for me. Where's and what sort of things are you looking at?
I'm going to stay right away from that one. I don't love talking about my opponents. I don't do a ton of film study. My coaches watch the films and they train me accordingly. So I'm going to, you know, I don't mean to be a dick, but I don't really love talking about my opponents. I try to focus more on what I'm going to do on Saturday night. I'm more than happy to talk to you about what I think I should be doing.
Well, that's going to be my follow-up. I mean,
Sure.
what needs to happen to make sure that you get your arm raised? You talked about making sure that you got your arm raised. What sort of things need to happen to make sure that you do get your arm raised that night?
I mean, I don't think it's any surprise that after the last fight, I think a lot of people coaching from their couches at home told me, I got a lot of messages telling me I should have used my wrestling, right? Well, no shit, Holy shit! You think I didn't think of that? And I guess to their credit, if I had to say any part of that had some truth to it, I would say that you're probably right. I probably should have tried to wrestle a little sooner, but it's like then you get the hindsight's 20/20 thing. Then what if I would have dove in on a shot that wasn't there and gotten whacked with a knee or an uppercut, and then they would have been sending me messages telling me, "Why did you forced the wrestling, man? You should have done your striking. You were hitting him with that jab. You should have kept doing that." So you can't make them happy, But I would say, as far as like what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch any of my previous fights. That's what you should expect Saturday night. High pace and a lot of attacks.
Perfect. Best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Cool. Thanks, guys. You guys are going to get me up there with Dominic Cruz. Right? People will love me.
Is he the Stone? Oh, he's the Maze replacement?
First UFC win under the belt. Give me an idea. Just were you good? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Guess we should be rolling. Got the first UFC win under the belt back in November, I believe. Just give me an idea of like how important is that to get to that moment and get that accomplishment.
It's a huge accomplishment. Of course, everyone wants to get into the UFC, and then you get in here, and then you find out that these are sharks, and everyone's a shark. Me going into that fight, I knew Burchak. Like I said, me and him were friends, and I knew he was coming on a 5-fight win streak, finishing everybody in the first round. And then also as a great grappler. But like I belong in this division. I know I belong in this division. I know I could go out there and take out anybody. So going to that fight, I was confident. I felt great. I went out there and just performed. Couldn't have a better night.
Absolutely. And see, I always wonder about that. Like you said, everybody has this dream, right? You get into the UFC and there's a setback in your first one. I always wonder what that does psychologically. Like, is that difficult between fight one and fight two to keep that faith in yourself? Like, hey, I do know I belong here. I do know that I'm as good as I thought I was.
No, it didn't affect me at all. When I fought Merab on that 20-hour notice, they literally got called, like, say it was today. It was a Thursday night. Thursday morning, it was like, hey, you want to go fight? Like who? Like, Merab. Okay, sure. Who's Merab? And then check my weight. I was 157. I'm like, I'll be there. I'll make it. And I was already getting ready to cut down to 35. Luckily, he wanted it at 40. But still, from 157 to 140, still a 17-pound drop in 20-hour notice. And I still had to do medicals and do everything, made the weight, and I felt like I performed. I felt like I performed against one of the top guys out in the division. I felt my skill-wise, I thought I was better than him. I still do. I actually came into Extreme Couture, got some rounds with him. He's like, don't ask for a rematch. And we just started laughing. Because skill-wise, I know I'm better than that guy. And I know I'm better than a lot of the guys in the division. Like, I am I'm glad I'm there. People are like looking past me and thinking, oh, Gustavo's going to get knocked out by this dude. By who? Like, who is this random Yanez dude that supposedly has good striking and good footwork? I'm like, could he swim? How deep in the waters can he swim? Does he like, there's some interviews say he likes to scramble, likes to wrestle. I'm like, you don't like to wrestle. Wrestlers don't like to wrestle. I'm going to put you in some deep, deep water, and he's going to get drowned.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you what you thought about this matchup, right? Because I feel like he's got a lot of hype around him. You know what I mean? Like
What?
People are looking at him as this
Talk
super prospect or whatever.
Talk to me who he beat. Who has he beat that is like, oh, he fought like the Marabs, the fucking guys in the UFC. He's doing well. He will be a good fighter. But I'm gonna ruin his night. I'm gonna ruin a lot of people's his whole hype is gonna get taken off. I'm a different animal in this game. You know, with the World of Sharks, I'm that megalodon dude that gets you in the waters, and I'm gonna drown this dude. It's different. I'm a different beast. Even when I would fight Burchak is an amazing grappler, and he's like, bro, you're different. My coaches at 10 Planet are like, bro, they've never seen no one like you. I am a different animal down there. And when the World of Sharks, I'm that big monster is gonna drown these guys.
That's awesome. Can't say it much better than that. Let me just say last thing then. What kind of fight are you expecting here? I mean, he's had some quick finishes, right? So, I mean, do you feel like this is a fight that comes out and you get it done early and there can be something spectacular? Or do you feel like, you know, in order to drown him, you gotta take him to the deep waters of the rounds as well?
I could drown him in the first round. It doesn't take much for me to so the moment I get a hands on this guy, it's gonna be a bad night for him. He's, you know, and for him, he's a guy that loves to come pressure. He's a guy that loves to come forward. Let's go. Let's get close to me. Let's see what happens. You know, he's like we talked about some interviews that he's hoping to knock me out. He's hoping. You know, I know if I get a hold of him, it's gonna be a bad night. And my striking, who's saying my striking ain't good? You know, have you not seen my last highlights? So where's this hype coming from this dude? I'm gonna ruin this guy's night. He's gonna have an amazing trip. I'm gonna go out there, put on a show, get that bonus, and just fucking take off. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna murder this guy. It's gonna be a bad night for him.
Are you always this fired up before a fight, or is there something about this one in particular?
No, during fight week, I get super focused. I'm in a point in my life that I'm just the happiest I could be right now. Everything in my life is well, family's good, everything's happy, and I've changed my outline in life of just being grateful for where I'm at. And I'm super happy. Things are just amazing. I have so much going on in the world other than just fighting. I have this new business that we're starting up with this fashion designer called Camille Flawless, and she does like high-end dresses with these stones, Swarovski stones, and these are like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 dresses. So I partnered up with her because me having my bachelor's in finance, I could help broaden the business, and her being the artist she is, she could do what she does. So I'll connect my people with her people. We have a trip to Miami after this to go do some more business, go look at a shop we're gonna buy. And then I have my other company, Team Hustle, at Las Vegas, that we have a big meeting with a bunch of investors the next week. You know, this fighting is not all I do. I'm a super intelligent dude, and when I get into the cage, when I get to this point in my life that I'm intense right now. I just want to get a hold of this guy. And we got this notice 16 weeks out, long time out. So we had a lot of time to study this dude, to know what he's doing, work on my striking, work on my defense, work on my movement. You know, if he's gonna throw, come at me, man. Let's go. You think I don't have a chin? Like, have you not seen the people I fought? Like, where did this dude come from?
Well, I was going to ask, do you think it's something to do with the fact that he's coming off the Contender Series, right? We see a lot of momentum from those guys coming into the UFC from that outlet, so maybe that could be it?
It could be it. It could be the two highlights, you know, that he had. Great knockouts, but against some random-ass dudes. Name me the guy he fought. Right? You know, it's like, oh, he fought Marab. Oh, he fought, you know, Anthony Burchak. Oh, he fought these. Who's he fought? You know, he had some dudes.
Victor Rodriguez.
Who's that?
It's a guy he just fought.
Yeah. So who is he? Yeah. It's like, you know, I'm sure he looks talented. He has great striking. You know, he might be good on the ground, but he's not a monster like me.
Going back to the Marab thing, I quite enjoyed the story you said about the conversation you guys had at the gym. Did he say don't ask for a rematch because of how well you did against him in training? Was that the sort of the joke?
I think that was a joke. I took it, like we were wrestling, took him down. you know, we're working back and forth. We're just drilling. We're moving around, but he couldn't hold me down, and I was holding him down. He's like, he's just joking. We were just training, like, don't ask for a rematch, and I'm just laughing about it because, you know, I'm at least another year, 2, 3 years before I even get back to those kind of fights. Like, those are the fights you take on a short notice, but like saying, like, they're not gonna offer me him next after I win this guy. What would they offer? They'll build me up. I'll get a couple more wins, and then, you know, I might just surpass them and just move on and go up the rankings. You know, like getting that revenge don't need it. It doesn't do anything for me. Like, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity that he gave me that got me here in the UFC. Now I'm able to work everyone at the UFC PI. Bo been amazing. He's been making me so much stronger, bigger, thicker, and smaller. I'm lean. I'm ready to go. The engine's running, man, full cylinders. And it's funny, we do the VO2 max test. We did it 8 weeks out, and I was already in fight shape back then. So we're saying for the past 8 weeks, we've just been sharpening the blade. I'm just going to go out there and just go home.
I'll be fired up, bro. Let's fight tomorrow, baby. Let's go.
I'm fired up, too.
Nice work, man. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is gonna come out here real super chill.
You pumping, I'm pumped.
Guys, copying footage. I didn't realize that somebody else.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, it was the quickest switch around. I was like, wait a second.
That's funny. That'd be funny if Yanez was like, I just really have a lot of respect for him. He's just such a nice guy.
I look pretty centered up right here, gentlemen.
There it looks better.
Okay.
I think, yeah, the last couple
Yeah, they're
was a
starting
little
to
off.
slide my sweat.
Yeah, that one looks good.
Obviously.
I think the next one's gonna be Cheyanne and JP together.
Together, okay.
It's a twofer.
I think first.
So let me
It's gonna be a couple minutes. You guys want me to turn the AC back on, or?
I'm actually right now.
You guys good?
It turns out once you stop guzzling,
I'm gonna use the
coffee,
restroom.
it doesn't make you sweat that much.
Hey, Tracy Michaels, this is going to be a 2-shot here. Can we zoom out for a 2?
These boys are also doing series, right?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message.
I know Cheyanne was.
No, he was. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I knew she was like a special kid. I was trying to. Yeah.
When he said, who did he fly? I was just like,
Who's that? I heard. Oh, like, it is true. I mean, you look at like the quality of opponents. Like,
yeah, Marab's a fun. Like, for him to say, oh yeah, man, like I got the better Marab in training. Like, I rate Marab like a lot, dude. That guy's a fucking.
Dude, I think Marad's future champ, or at least title champ. Like, if you look at like his early results, like the velocity, like controversy, and all that. You know, his record isn't flashy. Like that dude's legit.
Dude, like, so, random story. So one time I went to Las Vegas, they had a big inflatable lobster.
Yeah.
I bumped into Aljamain Marab there, and we were playing tag on thing. Marab is like was like, can you stop fucking running, dude? Like, I was out.
The machine, dog.
Dying. He was just like, yeah, like even my Aljo was getting gassed, and Marab was just like, go.
That's funny.
It's like crazy that was
Yeah,
like,
he's like legendary in the
yeah,
gym, dude.
it's funny that
Such a nice guy too, right?
Yeah, really nice
Such
guy.
a nice guy.
Great, like, got a funny kind of like, thing.
Just so you guys know, we have Tom Kenan in here, as a translator. It's not like the most confident translator, so there's
Just be very
a little gentle on that.
words.
I just got one.
Not asking questions.
Can I say one more?
JP, is J.P? Because I see on the fight card it's not, but I know we tend to
I
do
think we
dot
should
dot.
do it anyway. Let's see if we make an exception for him.
What is the relationship?
No, for him we don't.
We don't? Okay, why think? Last time we had a very couple fight on the card.
I mean, the only other one we have is the De La Rosas. They never fought on the same card, did they?
So they're making history?
No, they,
Did they fight on the
they
card?
cornered each other, but I don't think they fought. Wait, did they once?
I feel like maybe they did. Because I think that's the only other ones we've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Because Bellator had the possibility, but they didn't pick up what's her face.
Oh, with Austin.
Paige and Austin.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a given. Still surprised that didn't happen. Yeah, that's right. New Mexico, that was a card I wasn't at. They fought in New Mexico.
That had to be the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are just no Americans. I think there's a possibility now with Amanda.
Yeah. I suppose it's possible, like, people were dating or something and we just didn't know it, you know what I mean? But I don't think that'd be fair. I think they won the second one.
You can see the camera?
Yeah.
You understand?
I was like,
So, am I going the wrong way?
I was like, we'll just put both of them there together. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we just don't want to move too far because of the lighting.
Yeah.
I mean, we got enough
Let me go
sword
back.
up there.
Hey, my man,
So-
could you move that? See the little wire on the right side of the screen? Can you go, yeah, there we go. So,
Yeah, so you can slide back now. Yeah, that should be good. And I'm just going to check focus real quick.
okay,
I think I'm a little off.
soft.
That's as wide as I can. Yeah, so we need to be a little bit more to your right. Yep. 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 Yep, that'll be good.
Hey, hey.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
misses one event, they change the rules.
It was funny because I asked her, I was like, you know, is there something that we can do with the commission just for the fact that us that aren't on the floor? And she said something was in the works. So they just sent an email out or something?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Well,
So we could just show
no
up.
longer be required to quarantine or for other side.
That's awesome. You're welcome. Just gotta
It
leave
was
the big
either
dog
that,
out.
it was
when we-
either that or the fact that I told her I was going to start drinking in other media's room at the hotel on Friday night. Column A, column B.
I think like that's kind of what everybody's starting to do, and they're like, this is it.
That's lovely news.
Great news.
Chels.
Guys, I love to make you have the best experience.
It's pretty
This is
fucking
one event,
spectacular,
they
by
changed
the way.
the rules.
Yeah, we were just like, look what happened to Kenny, we can't rest this again.
Thank you. It's my email. Are you walking again? Are you texting me?
Those ones that you want to know. I've set it up. I'll take a look. It's been scheduled.
Honestly, worst case, we could just do his, but yeah. So you're trying to have him log in ours?
Yeah.
What time is it? Right?
Log in. You want me to do it right here?
No, just, is he trying to log in right now, or?
No. I'll just get it from home.
I mean, worst case, if Danny's on, Danny could always do it too.
That's what I said. Dan's just gonna cut it.
Goes and try to log in, see if he can sort it. Did you send goes in the email, or? You just sent what's his face, the,
Link. That is really good news.
awesome. The whole, like, waste your day.
Just,
Like,
yeah.
just let us just show up and do like we did in the tent, man. Like, it didn't make any sense, especially for us that never go anywhere around the commission, around all the other extra people. This room is like our tent.
I know, it's just like a tent. But even us, like cage side, it's not like anybody goes around and mingles and stuff, you know? Ooh, that's interesting though. Local media who live in Las Vegas or do meet with the surrounding areas. So I guess like if somebody rolls in from out of town, they still got quarantine. But I guess they'd be doing that anyway, right? Stay in their hotel.
Because we will have been tested that week. I think it's for people that don't test through the week that come into town, and their first interaction would be,
Yeah.
it makes sense for us for sure, because they know we'll already have done it. At
So
least
now,
that's
so
what I
now
do.
what we do is just basically after weigh-ins, go get a test.
Yeah, and then go.
Is it saying, so it is saying we still
Presumably,
have to
you
test
have to
again?
go get a test on Friday night.
That's what I'm saying. It's
5
like,
to 7.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, is it 5 to 7? So you have to wait until 5? Oh, that's, well,
I think
I'm not gonna complain. That's way better. Whoa, now I gotta leave.
Was it, what is the window? So it's like by 5 p.m., right?
I think it's by 7.
I know it's by 7, but I didn't know it started. I see that there is no.
Yeah, 3 to 7.
Well, that's cool. Maybe just like finish up here, get some lunch or something.
That's pretty awesome. makes me happy. I made a mistake one Friday going to the, or the Tuesday or whatever, I went to the other one and then they were like, no. You're in the wrong spot. I was just like, You're still wanting audios for these, right?
Yeah. It's not easy. I mean, honestly, I don't care. I just do it on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I figure if others are,
Well, that's true. Yeah, there are some people helping out.
are you really asking for that login again?
You didn't give it to me.
It's my email. It's always the same.
But is
I
there
thought I just told you.
not a password?
No, it sends me a code, remember?
Oh. So, can it have that?
K Hathaway, yeah, USA Today.
Oh, USA Today?
Oh, I see what you, I thought you were saying K Hathaway. Yeah, K Hathaway, USA. And the niece that thinks that's so cool. I think that's just what she thinks it's cool.
What this?
That I have a USA Today for that.
Who thinks it's
for
cool?
my niece.
Oh, that's funny.
She's like 21. She's like, that's so cool. I was like, well, I'm glad you think it's cool. She thinks it's so cool. I do UFC stuff.
That's
I'm
like,
oh, am I the cool uncle? Am I the cool uncle?
that's why I said whenever USA Today bought us, that was the interesting thing in the beginning was figuring out like when to use USA Today and when to use MMA Junkie. Because like there's some people they're like, oh, you work with Junkie, what the fuck is that? You know, and then other people are like, yeah, I don't know anything about USA Today.
Rodriguez is still in the UFC.
Good, man. Can I get one, actually? Thank you.
Yes, we do something together.
I'll let you guys get a water before we start. Appreciate you doing it together for us.
No,
Thank you. We
guys.
want to do shit together.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we enjoy this stuff.
That's cool. 'Cause we were setting up the schedule this week, and I was like, hey, would you ask them if they'd mind doing it together? Like, I think it'd be kind of cool to have them both up there. You know?
Anytime, any day, any place. This is our job.
That's
We'd rather
awesome.
do it together.
I kind of felt bad because I wasn't sure if it was like, hey, we're individual fighters with our own careers,
No.
you know?
We do this together. We fight together. We
That's awesome.
do this together.
We'll get started then. I guess first off, let me just say thanks for doing this together. And it's special, right? It's not something we see very often. But I was curious from your point of view. I mean, is this like unique or is this just life? Like you're so used to it. Like this isn't special that you got a married couple on a UFC card.
To me, this is our job. This is our livelihood. We literally train together. We eat, sleep, do everything together. So to come up here and interview together, I like it. I mean, let's just kill two birds with one stone and get out of here.
Plus, we speak a lot of more funny stuff together when we get each other the energy going. We talk a lot of smack.
Yeah, he talks a lot of smack to me too.
That's awesome. So as far as being on the card together, right? I mean, I guess there's an argument to be said. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I mean, I would think training would be great, right? Because you're all peaking and dieting and all that at the same time. But there's the whole like emotional support thing and that. So as far as being on the same card when this happened, did y'all lobby for this, or did you kind of fear it, or what did you think?
We actually spoke to Coach Safe about it and said that we wanted to actually do it together. When we started, we actually said, "Oh, I'm gonna be in the UFC before you. You're gonna be in there before me." So it was kind of like a race thing, and I mean, God blessed us and put us out there on the same time.
When we got the call, it was literally like 2 days before Christmas, and I was injured after my fight, and I was healing, and I was just like praying and praying. I was like, just one of us get the call, like we want to do it together, but we weren't hearing anything. And I swear it was 2 days before Christmas. Our coach called us, and he was like, I got you a fight, and I got JP a fight. And I was like, no way, who's first? And then he was like, you two are together. And he was like, are you sure you guys want to do this? And he's like trying to baby us. He's like, are you sure we don't have to do it? And then over here we're screaming. We're like, F yeah. We're like, let's do it. We're like, that's what we want to do. I mean, we're training partners. We're best friends. And to come out here and make a statement together, it doesn't get better than that.
We also kind of like, if she has a fight and I don't have a fight, we still diet together in the house. So I'm the person that's got to sit in the sauna with her if she's got a fight. So why not just do it together?
Yeah.
Also, that's 2 paychecks one night. So
that's good for the family. Yeah. So I got to wonder, is there any kind of good-natured joking between each other? I mean, you're on the main card, you're on the prelims, right? So have you guys talked about that at all? Like, hey, I'm the big main card fighter in the family.
No, actually we didn't. We actually weren't going to be in each other's corner for the fight because we thought we were going to both be on the prelims. I was going to be like early. She's going to be a little bit later than me. I mean, she's the more good-looking fighter out of us, so I thought she would fight higher anyway. But, yeah, so when we found out that she's a main card fighter, we're like, well, we would like to be there for one another and be in each other's corner and actually speak and be there for one another. So it actually worked out better by her being the main card fighter.
You guys are going to corner each other?
Yeah, so when we got the call but when we saw that they updated the fight card and they posted it last weekend after the fights, and we saw that I was in the main card and he was the second fight, we were just like, who do we need to call to make sure that we're both in each other's corner? I mean, I'm not missing that, and I don't want him to miss that. Like, that's a huge moment. I was actually sad and crying the fact that we decided to be professionals and not be in each other's corner. It was a bunch of bullshit. I was like, no, man. I was like, no, I want to be there. But, of course, we have our coaches. Our coach, actually, our jiu-jitsu coach that was going to be here with us, fell through with COVID. And it was just God's plan for us. Like, I'm going to make that walk with him, and I'm going to be by his side.
So is it just you in each other's corner? Do y'all have other coaches? Or?
No, we got our coach, and we brought my dad. We brought my dad too.
Yeah, so we're going to be in each other's corner, and then we're both going to have dad in the corner and the general. As long as we have the general, we'll be focused. But then at the same time, we were like, if she doesn't corner me, then she's not in my victory photo. Yeah. But I'm in her victory photo? That's not fair.
That's funny.
Right.
So obviously, no disrespect to what you'll be going through, JP, but it seems like a tougher assignment for you, right? Because you've got to manage your emotions and the adrenaline and all those things. So what do you think the key is to that, right? I mean, there's nothing more, I think, intense than fighting than having your loved one in there fighting, right? So how do you manage that roller coaster of emotions you're going to have before your own fight?
I mean, I don't give a shit. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight anyways. So for me, it's just composing myself, which whenever he fights, I'm more nervous for him whenever I fight. So I already know, like, we just got to go in there and do our job. I mean, I'm actually excited because I get to make the walk before I make the walk for myself. So I'm actually using this as motivation for myself. Like, okay, I'm going to get the walkout jitters for him because I'm going to be a little nervous wreck for him anyways. So for me, it plays out in my favor, actually. Instead of thinking everything in a negative situation, I'm thinking of everything as a positive situation. And just being right there for him. I mean, I'm so excited I get to sit there and watch him and not be in the back room with my headphones on and being all, like, fight mode. Like, I'm going to be fight mode anyways. I've been fight mode my whole life. So to come out here, like, March 20th is going to be a night for our family to remember.
That's awesome. I guess in some ways you'd probably be maybe even just as nervous or not more nervous if you were like confined to a hotel room watching it on Fight Pass or ESPN?
I would have been more nervous if I was stuck in the back. Like, I wouldn't even have watched his fight in the back because I would have just been so heartbroken that I wasn't there for him for his UFC debut fight. Like, it was actually a really big deal for me that I wasn't there, but at the end of the day, we are professionals, and I was like, okay, we have to have our coaches, so. And my dad's here, so we could have kicked my dad out, but without my dad, a lot of things weren't possible for us to get here and immigrate here to the States. And my dad's been my number one fan since I was 5 years old when I told him I wanted to be the female Karate Kid. So because of my dad, a lot of things are possible. And there was no way with no fans, I was not letting my dad miss this. So my dad's going to be there. We got our general, and my husband will be alongside with me.
That's awesome. So it's a cool story. You're just building up to it, but now you got to fight, right? So let's talk about the matchup. JP, what do you think about Bruno? How does the matchup play out?
I think his nickname speaks for himself, man. He's a dog. He's well-rounded everywhere. I mean, film study, I haven't done a lot of film study. I watched one fight of his, and that was his last bout, and I was like, I've seen enough. Like, I can't focus on what his tools are and what he does great, but I saw he does everything good. He's good everywhere. He can wrestle. He's tough as hell. He can grapple. He throws all kinds of spinning things. I saw everything in his fight, and I was like, I need to see more. Like, if I just watch more, it might freak me out more. I'll be more stressed. But I was like, I just got to go out there and prepare. So for the last 12 weeks, instead of focusing on what he does well, I've just been focusing on improving my all-round game. Like, at the end of the day, I can watch all this film of what he did in fights, but I'm a different opponent than what they were.
Yeah, fair enough. And how about you with Montserrat? What do you think about that matchup?
I personally love the matchup, and I actually have a crazy story for this matchup. Obviously, I was supposed to fight Kay Hansen a few days ago. They got the call. She bounced out of it, so that was cool that they called me for Montserrat, because for this whole fight camp, I had my friend Emily Ducote, who is actually fighting for the Invicta Strawweight title here in the next few weeks, come out for the past few months to help me prepare, but I was also helping her prepare for her fight, and her fight was against Montserrat. So the whole camp, I studied Montserrat. I pretended to be Montserrat, actually, throw stupid headlock throws for her. Like, not stupid, but, I was just trying to be her opponent and, do all this crazy stuff for her. And when they gave me the call, I was like, wow, life's crazy. I know exactly what this girl's going to do, and I know exactly how to beat this girl, because training with Emily Ducote was a huge step up for me with against Kay and for Montserrat. So for me, I love this matchup. I highly respect Montserrat, but she's got another killer in front of her also.
Well, last thing for me, obviously it's a big night for the family. I'm sure you'd like the 2 wins, maybe even 2 bonus checks would really change things for you. That'd be amazing. But I guess give me an idea. Moving forward in your careers, is this something that you want to continue to happen, that you're fighting together as frequently as possible, or is it kind of a, we wanted to do it this first time and then we'll see how it all plays out? What's the idea moving forward?
We will do this again if they give us the call. Maybe the next time, maybe one of us fight. It's been some special times in our house, okay? The mood swings, it's all fun and games now that we're here and we're laughing about everything. It's been stressful. Maybe if they called us short notice to both fight, that would be way nice too. But man, it's been life-changing for us, this fight camp, to step up in competition and to do this together. This is not our first time fighting on the same night. We've made history for LFA as the first married couple to both fight and win also. So for us, it's about coming here and making a legacy and representing our family name. We're not here for a long time, but a good time. So that's all I got to say.
From my side, I wouldn't mind fighting on the same card as her, because I get to punch her a little bit more in camp, So training together, I can take out a little bit more of the frustration. If she fights, I got to be the punching bag. If I fight, then she's not really the punching bag. I got to punch my teammates. But, yeah, I would like to fight more often on the same card as her so I can punch her a little bit.
Do you think, obviously this one you said has been a life-changing experience for you, and you're enjoying it now specifically, but do you think in the future it might be better if you fight on separate cards just to focus on yourselves as individuals? You can help her, you can help him, just individually?
No, because regardless, we're each other's main training partner. We have a home gym. We have our home gym Fortis MMA, and then we have our jiu-jitsu school, and at every single one of our gyms we train together. We're main partners. We really bring out the best in each other. So to come out here and have a whole fight camp like this, it's nothing new for us, whether we fight on separate cards. Only reason why I said before maybe him getting on a separate card is because, you know, I want him to have a bunch of fame for himself. Like, you know, we've had to be really selfish this fight camp. You know, I had to focus on myself and he had to focus on himself. Like, me being a wife, I wasn't able to do a lot of wife duties. And that's something that kind of hurt my pride for him. Like, I'm not able to make him fresh meals for right after training. Like, I had to make my own stuff. I had to do my own thing. And, you know, watching him have to be like do his own thing in the house and make his own food and
washing the dishes.
Yeah, like it's tough on his end also. Like, I am a wife and I do pride myself in being a wife and everything that comes with being a wife. So that's why I said maybe doing it separate once or twice. But honestly, at the end of the day, no matter what argument, when we got here, we just told each other, like, we're so grateful for the camp. Like, it really built us strong in many ways. Like, you know, I watched him for the past 12, 13 weeks be independent on his own instead of relying on me for certain things. And but yeah, I'm excited to go back home and just make him a home-cooked meal and enjoy a week off with him and then get back to work.
I mean, sometimes we're going to have to fight on different cards depending on where we are in our life. Maybe injuries happen, things happen where we can't fight together. But as long as God blesses us and we stay healthy and injury-free and we can make the walk together, I mean, I'd like to build that story. There's no story like that in the UFC, and that story would be something special for us, for our family name. And as long as we can keep going doing that, it will be like... it will be worth it. I mean, it's never easy. Your camp's always a miserable thing. Like, all you want to do is just train. You need to train more. Like, the dogs come near me. I say, get away from me. Like, so even if we're not fighting together, I'm like still the same person. But yeah, I would like to build that story up if we can.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Tracy, you happy here? Copy.
What's up, guys? I can take these masks off, right?
Yes, sir. Sweet. But that's a good, that's a cute mask. What's that? Let me see that.
It's Bucky's. When you guys go to Texas for the next UFC event,
Oh, look at that.
you guys make sure you guys go to Bucky's if you have never been, okay? No, seriously. When you're in Texas, if you know, the best gas station to go to is Bucky's. You go to Bucky's, they have the good food, you know, all the stuff at Bucky's is really, really nice. You like Bucky's, trust me.
Get that sponsorship, man.
You know, and I'm happy with spending money at Bucky's. You know, it's like, I'm happy with spending money at Bucky's. You know, it's like a very nice place. And it's like all the food that they have wouldn't be good for me, so it wouldn't be the smartest sponsorship.
That's funny. You good? Cool. All right. Okay, just 3 months away. I mean, for you, that's got to feel like 3 years or something, right? What's it been like for you during this extended layoff?
Retirement. It's been retirement. I've been retired for the past 3 months. Now I'm back at it like a jackrabbit, baby.
It's funny because we do hear, you know, people say, "Hey, I get better when I'm not in a camp, right? Because I'm not preparing for a specific guy. I can work on things." Have you experienced that at all, or have you just been maybe resting a little bit?
Nah, I mean, took took a little time off, not much, you know. And it's like I got a couple tattoos, so you know, you get a couple days off when you get the tattoos, but not much, you know. Not much chilling has been going on. We've been training, and people say they get better when they don't have a person coming up, and that's good for them. You know, and it's like, but I always train like I don't have a person coming up, so it's like I'm always getting better, little by little, 1% a day, right? That's what they say. But no. It's been the grind. The grind has been real for Brunson. We know what to expect. We know what to go on there and do. And if he changes it up a little bit, that's all Henry Hoof. It's nothing to do with Derek Brunson. So props to Henry Hoof.
Main event. I mean, you're getting a taste of it, right? I mean, I feel like you've had the public attention for a while, and you've had the media and that sort of thing. But does this feel any different? Is there any more that you like or don't like about the experience?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of fighting for 25 minutes. Let's just be real here. You know, it's like you hear Derek Lewis talking about it all the time. That's not his ideal of a fight. You know, it's like it's just the truth. You know, like nobody wants to fight for 25 minutes. Where I'm from, you're lucky if they fight for 2.5. You know what I mean? So 25 minutes is a very, very long time. Other than that, nah, I mean, the social media is pretty cool, though, because I had this guy get online earlier, and he was running his mouth, and I was like, look, I'm willing to give out 3 free shirts to the best 3 comments on his page. The man deleted his stuff. He blocked everybody, you know, changed his name and everything. It's good stuff, you know, and so it's like I enjoy that. I enjoy that aspect of getting a little bit more followers on social media and stuff like that, and the main event status is pretty cool, but 25 minutes of fighting, you know, it's like you could have made me co-main. I would have got a lot of followers, and I would only had to fight for 15.
Did it require you to prepare any different? I mean, you sound kind of a gym rat anyway, but I mean, so did you have to do anything different to get ready for 25 over 15?
The grind was real, you know, and I'm gonna keep saying that, and I'm gonna keep saying that. The grind was real. It's something that I believed the whole time getting ready for the Derek Brunson fight. As soon as they gave me the opportunity that I might be able to fight a wrestler, somebody like that, I took on the mindset that the grind was real. So yeah, it's a lot longer in the gym. You know, it's like versus where I would do this workout and I'd be like, all right, I can really chill from here on out. It's like, no, like the full hour you had to go hard. You know, it's like I just had to go hard the whole time. You know, versus I would like to normally relax and chill, you know, do a small workout, go outside, smoke my reefer, come back and do something else. It's like it wasn't like that. It was hard workout, go home, smoke a reefer, fall asleep. And it's like I couldn't go on dates. I couldn't play a video game half the time. I couldn't do anything. It's like because we were working, you know, and it's like, and golly, I love to work, but that hard, sheesh.
So does that mean after this you're lobbying for all co-main events moving forward? Just like I don't want any more. Just give me the co-main every time.
Yeah, I look. You can make me the co-main champ. That's how you can do it. You know what I mean? Make me the co-main champ. You know, it's like I don't need a belt if I got to fight for 25 minutes. Izzy, you can keep your belt. You really want to fight? We can fight as a co-main event. You don't have to worry about losing another championship fight. There you go, Bucko.
Maybe the co-mainiest MFer or something like that.
Man, hey, yeah, I love the way that sounds.
Nice. Listen, you had a great 2020. Obviously, you know, set records and that sort of thing. But I got to ask. I mean, was the highlight being MMA Junkie Male Fighter of the Year? I mean, that's got the best thing in your life.
Come on, between that and the Schmo Award, I was the man. You know what I mean? I was the man. Yeah, I was happy with all the I guess we just say accolades, right? Yeah, all the accomplishments and stuff like that I got. You know, that was amazing. I've been following MMA Junkie for a long time. So to get Fighter of the Year for MMA Junkie, that felt amazing. To get Fighter of the Year from a couple different organizations, that felt amazing. The only person that didn't give it to me was the UFC. And damn, that would have been nice because that would have got me a little EPSP, right? But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And 2020 was amazing. 2021 has potential to be even better. It's like 2020 I was supposed to fight this same month in London against Jack Marshman. Now I'm fighting somebody top 10 in the UFC middleweight division. Granted, it's for 25 freaking minutes. Hopefully I finish them in 2. You know what I mean? Because I ain't trying to fight that long. But, yeah, it's amazing, dude. It's amazing. You know, and look how far we can come in a year.
It is amazing what you've done. This could be a big one for you. You talk about what's at stake. Is this a little bit personal to me? You guys have a little bit of history together, right? Is it personal?
It's not really personal. I mean, I guess you could say we used that to sell it the whole time, but it's not really personal. Let's be real. If it was personal, I would have smacked him that day in the airport after I didn't get the fight and he got the fight, and I was still butthurt about it. You know, it's like it's not that personal. He said little things here and he said little things there, but the people online, they say way worse. At the end of the day, it's just competition. If it was personal, I would have smoked that for a long time ago. You know what I mean? If it was really that personal, you guys are gonna know when it's personal. When you see the green machine sitting outside, call the tow truck company and call the police. You know what I mean? That's when it's personal. You want that car out of here as fast as possible.
Nice. Last thing for me, give me an idea here. I mean, the goal obviously is always to win, but it's a big moment for you. I mean, do you feel like you got to go do it with certain style? I mean, we've come to expect this talking or this something special out of you. Do you feel like you got to do that, or is it just getting your hand raised?
Nah, I mean, as long as I go out there and I do what Kev does, it's special. You know, it's like if you watched every fight that I've ever had, win, lose, draw, whatever the case may be, Kev goes out there and fights. Kev is Kev. You know what I mean? Usually you put me away when I'm tired. You know what I mean? I've been putting in strength and conditioning and stuff lately. Shout out to CD Powertrain. I'm not going to get tired. You know, and it's like, and if I do get tired, it's probably because I fought way too hard for the amount of time that I was fighting. And that's me too. So it is what it is. We'll take it how it comes. And does it need to be devastating fashion? Doesn't need to be, but it will be.
When you saw Paulo Costa was out of that fight with Rob Whittaker, did you think to yourself, man, that's like, what, 3 months, I think? Or maybe even just a month?
That's what? Robert Whittaker and Paulo Castillo, that's April 17th?
17th.
April 17th is March right now. So April, that was right away. It was next. It was perfect. It was perfect. I'm already in shape for the Brunson fight. I could have went in and took the Whittaker fight. It made sense. You know, I mean, I thought Paulo Castillo, he literally should have waited 3 more days before he announced that he couldn't take the fight. You know what I mean? Had he waited until after I had already beat Brunson, then I'd be fighting Robert Whittaker next. You know, now instead Kelvin Gastelum gets to fight Robert Whittaker. And Kelvin Gastelum's coming off like 3-4 losses? And he finally got 1 dub, and now he gets to go fight the ex-champ. This is bull crap. You know what I mean? It's like, but they were supposed to fight already, so I'm happy that they finally get the fight. Props to those guys.
Do you realize that if you win on Saturday night, it's probably 25-minute fights forever?
No, it's not.
No?
No, it's not. I'm going after this fight. I'm going to 170 pounds and starting my career all over again.
Speaking of 170 pounds, I wanted to ask you, you were on the Joe Rogan Experience, and you mentioned about how Hamzat should have just sort of rolled on with COVID. Now we've seen how bad he apparently has it and that he had to pull out of that fight again. Do you regret those comments, or do you still stand by?
No, why would I regret those comments? He still looks pretty in all his pictures, you know, and it's like, everybody says he feels bad. I had seen him literally 2 days before he said he felt bad. And we were about to low-key fight inside the lobby all over again. You know what I mean? It's like he doesn't feel, he didn't feel that bad that hour. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It is what it is. I think the guy is personally getting better, so when he comes back and he has to fight that tougher competition, he could continue to smash the way he's been smashing. But I could be wrong. I'm known for being wrong. Hell, I didn't even graduate from high school. I'm known for being wrong, you know?
Well, I'd love you to expand on that story. You guys nearly had to fight in the lobby, because I know you had the incident at the hotel.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't like almost fight. It was just literally, I seen him, he seen me, and I walked in and I was like, oh, look, my best friend's here. Granted, there's a language barrier, so he probably didn't understand I was being sarcastic. And he was like, oh, you want to be friends now? I started laughing and I was like, fuck no, never. Why would I want to be friends with you? And then somebody behind me was like, Kevin, there's a lot of them and it's just one of you. And I was like, I'm not worried about it. I drove out here. I got dildos in the car. I'm ready to fuck that boy. So it's just, I'm never really worried about these guys. It's like, I hope he gets better. I'd love to fight him one day, Who's to say he's the same after he gets better though? So, it's like I don't mean nothing hard on these guys when they catch COVID and they don't feel better right away. I don't mean anything hard on them. I guess you could say I mean more hard on the fans to sit up there and boast and brag about these guys all day, every day, and then they don't do the same thing that I do, and I'm like, damn, boast and brag about me a little bit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But no, I don't regret it at all.
Mentioned Israel Adesanya losing another championship fight. What did you think of him against Jan Blachowicz?
I think that he said he didn't try and put on weight, but I think that he put on weight. It's like he may have came in at 200 pounds. I think that he did a normal weight cut, which was smart. It's a smart thing to do. Take it how you normally would take it, right? He looked a little slower than he normally does, right? Usually he's faster than that. He didn't look as fast. Am I wrong? I could be right here, right? He didn't look as fast as he normally does. He got beat in the striking aspect. He got beat in the grappling aspect. He got beat, It's like, in a lot of other sports, when you're a champ and you lose, you're no longer the champ anymore. Granted, he went up a weight class, but shit, the dude lost. He's officially, is there any other fighters right now that has done just about every combat sport and lost in every combat sport? Is there? So I guess you could say he's a true loser.
Last thing for me, if you win this weekend, it would seem likely that your next fight would either be Till or Vittori or Whittaker and Gastelum. So when you look at those 4 guys, anyone stand out to you? Do you have matchup that you prefer?
Man, I take cookies for 300. No, I'm just playing. I don't know, man. I feel like I jumped up to where I am now. You know what I mean? It's like I was working, putting in work. Yeah, granted, I had a lot of wins, and then all of a sudden it was just like, boom, top 10. It's like, yeah, I beat Jacare, legendary Jacare. You talk about me fighting these top 5 guys next. Amazing. I would love to fight every single one of them. And it's like, whenever you guys want me to fight them, I'll fight them. No big deal. But I don't want to sit up here and play that game that all these guys try and play. Like, I don't know if I want to fight that guy. I don't know if I want to fight that guy. I don't know if it's a good time to fight that guy. Whoever they have for me next, just give it to me. It's like, if it's Robert, it's Robert. If it's Paulo, it's Paulo. If it's Till, it's Till. If it's Vettori, fuck yeah, it's Vettori. If it's, hell, if it's sitting on the sideline for the next 6 months, that's something I don't want to do, so I'll switch weight classes. It's like I've kept the diet really clean this time because I'm ready for whatever. So, shit, I just want to beat up Brunson.
The only thing for me, real quick and easy, since tattoos seem to be a big part of your life, and I know people are interested, what did you get? And if you don't mind sharing, can we see what you got and what the significance was?
Yeah. So right after the fight, I went and got this bullet right here, right? And it's like the same bullet that you see on like when you're playing like Mario and stuff like that, right? But it's a 9mm shell. It's my favorite gun to shoot is a 9mm. I shot a 9mm a few times. Don't do forensics. So yeah, I got that on the right arm because the right arm has been like a sniper all year long. It's been a bomb. It's been a bullet. It's been everything that a lethal weapon needs to be. It's been killing folks left and right. You look at most of my finishes, it came from that right hand. I never realized how right-handed I was until I noticed that. So the bullet just signified, exactly what I'm going to do to these guys. And if you know the game, you know that these right here go boom. So when I catch you, I just want it to go boom. And then I got my last name on my shin because like I tell my coach all the time, I didn't graduate from high school, so I can't remember my name sometimes. So I got my last name on my shin so I can remember it, remember how to spell it when the time goes wrong.
And so now you got the tattoo. Does it, if you finish something with that, does it play into the celebration now? The celebration routine?
You know what? I haven't thought of one yet, but I might go home and get my little beatbox together and come up with a nice little celebration win. Shout out to Bump Box. They just dropped that new store in the Galleria in Houston. I can't wait to go. I love Houston. That's it? That's it? All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Hey, happy St. Patty's Day. Where's your green? Where's your... This is complete BS.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
See how warm mine is because of that.
That's because, remember why we gave him that name? Because we were pissed. You stand like that, remember? That's sweet morning.
I was just thinking about it today.
I guess first and foremost, happy birthday, right? You get to celebrate a birthday. Did you get to do anything fun at all?
Fuck all. Nothing. Save it for this weekend, I suppose.
Very nice. I was going to say, let's talk about this fight week, right? I mean, just typical boring, nothing going on. You're changing up opponents 2 days out. I mean, what's this week been like for you?
Yeah, it is what it is, eh? Yeah, starving, hungry, want to get pissed. Same old, you know how it is, fight week. But all roads lead to something good at the end, especially now we're in Vegas. So, new opponent, same thing. Go out there, get the win, and go party hard in Vegas.
Your last win, I mean, a big win for you, right? Can you talk about, I guess, kind of, I just kind of feel like that had to be a big one where it was like a crossroads in your career and you deliver. I mean, did it feel like that was an important moment for you?
Yes and no. It wasn't until everyone started saying, oh, do you feel pressure, this and that. But mainly it was just focusing on myself and what I needed to do. So I know once I'm in line with myself, I'm pretty hard hard to beat anywhere. So I feel good now too. Trained hard, been in Dubai, so just ready to roll, man.
The training in Dubai, how did that come about? Why was that the choice you made? That was a different move for you, right?
Yeah. Well, originally I thought Fight Island was going to be the place we fought, but and I was going to go train over there. I'd been at TK MMA, just knew a few of the guys there, and knew if I stay active, maybe I could jump on a few cards. But fuck, who knows what's going on, So in Vegas we are.
Yeah, that part. I guess the location thing didn't work out for you, but as far as the training itself, I mean, did it feel like, was it a positive for you?
Awesome training, great guys, great bunch of people there. Really, it's like just different bodies from all around the world, all different skill sets. So it was really good. I got to sponge a lot and learn a lot. So I feel like I'm getting better, trying anyway.
Yeah. So I'm interested, like, you kind of feel like you're turning this corner or whatever, getting better, improving, whatever. And then you get this last minute change of opponent. Was there any part of you that thought, I don't know, I'm trying to be more professional, I'm trying to, manage everything, versus this seems like they just, hell, let's do it, you know what I mean?
It was funny, we were talking, me and my team this morning, it was like, fuck, I was so close to going out and getting pissed. But, I've changed my ways. I'm a good boy now. But I was close. I was like, fuck this, man. Train all this time for nothing. But props to the fellow who took it, and sure we can share a beer after punching each other's head in.
How did that conversation go as far as them getting an opponent for me? I mean, I'm guessing you didn't know much about him, if anything at all. So did you ask any questions? Was there any scouting? Was there anything?
No, not really. I haven't seen my son for 3 months, so I wasn't leaving here without a fight, either in the cage or out the back somewhere.
I like it. I wonder with your career, Tai, if there's ever, I don't want to say regret, but like, do you want to be known as like the beer drinking shoey guy, or do you want people to look at you and go, no, he's an elite level heavyweight, champion type person?
Too late for that. So it is what it is. Man, I that's what I do. I punch people's heads in and I drink piss. I don't want to be. I'm fine with that. I'm sweet.
I'm with you. I'm the same.
Yeah. I'm sweet with that.
Last thing for me, I mean, obviously you entertain every time you go in there. New opponent, you've got a new training camp, all that. So what kind of fight are you expecting? I mean, do you feel like you can come in and do something spectacular, or do you feel like, maybe you have to grind, who knows what to expect? What type of fight are you expecting here?
Same thing as every fight, man. Just as long as I'm ready, I've prepared hard. I've been training with some top elite guys. Fuck, it's just another person, yeah? You know what I mean? Like 2 days call up, 4 weeks call up, whatever. It is what it is, I'm going out there to hunt someone's head and he's going to hunt mine. So it is what it is.
So you talked about training in Dubai. Did I see you in the crowd at McGregor versus Poirier?
That was me.
Having a couple of beers?
It was a bit early, yeah, I had a few.
A little bit of a dance as well, if I remember.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to actually kind of see a crowd and like, I know there wasn't much, but well, me personally, I love the crowd and I miss it. I miss it so much, So it was.
You stole Schmo's phone charger.
Yeah, my phone was dying. So I screamed out to the Schmo. Said, "Frosh your cord, please, bro."
You sitting here, I can feel like almost a bit of tension from you. Is that because you mentioned you haven't seen your son in so long? Is that what makes you you're ready to fight now?
Yeah, I'm kind of over. It's my birthday. I've been off the piss for a bit now. Get hungry during the end of the week. But yeah, I miss my son, man. I miss my son. It's probably the longest I've been away from him. Since he's gotten older. I think the older they get, you kind of miss him a bit more or something like that.
But and the piss, obviously.
Obviously, and the piss, yeah.
So, but does that mean I know you're like pissed off today, but does that mean this weekend you can think like, well, if I win on Saturday and then go out on the strip in Vegas, that's a decent birthday celebration?
Oh, that is the celebration. That's what's happening. That's the plan. Doesn't matter change of opponent or whatever. That is the plan. That's always been the plan. So I'm looking forward to that, obviously. But yeah, just have had a good camp. I feel good. I've practiced all areas, so
Ready to go.
Ready to roll.
Last one from me. Your opponent's called Harry Hunsucker. If you had to guess, what is a Hun?
the woman? What is it?
Your opponent's name's Harry Hunsucker. Just wondered if you had an opinion on what a Hun is.
Well, Hun in Australia is like it's like your woman, isn't it, or something like that? Like honey. Hey, hun.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that over here. I think it's like some.
What?
Like
Tell me.
Ancient European tribe.
Who the fuck knows that? No one's ever going to know that.
No, but I got a funny reaction. That's what I was going for.
Oh. Yeah, it's. Poor fellow, I don't know. That's his name. I don't want to say anything about his name, you know. But,
Happy birthday, Tai.
Thank you, brother. Cheers, boys. Thank you.
I just look like such a cunt.
Yeah, if it's not efficient.
It's not worth it if it's not.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Will they have it sorted for Victor Media Day?
Hell no.
Because then we could always just pick up with them tomorrow.
Yeah, we can just scratch.
Alaska, Chelsea.
Yeah. If not,
It should, because it should, if the translator's,
Somebody that who kind of knows English.
it's honestly, it's better not to, because then everybody just looks at it and goes, well, that's terrible
and then
content.
people talk
Boring.
shit about the translator.
Yeah, they feel
blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
I don't want to. You know, all these reasons.
I was like, you try real hard to do mistakes. I was like, he's not going to say it.
At first, I was like, oh shit, he's got to say cocksucker.
Yeah. Fucking then he said it off camera. It killed me. I was like, come on.
I was like, this is great. Oh, man.
At least I acknowledged on microphone, like I was just trying to get a reaction.
hopefully people don't watch that and be like, who's the fucking asking this question?
Oh, they did.
Oh, they'll never be able to figure out your word.
I just want to get pissed now.
You should have seen how surprised Ty was when he's like, oh, it's a smaller cage. And we're like, where have you been? Like,
Not picking up on these subtle nuances.
Yeah, I was like, hasn't changed.
No, for
The
what?
entire year, anniversary.
Guess we know what he's not watching on his days off. He's not the only one. He's a pretty decent modifiers. They don't watch this.
He's not. Why is he coming?
Who is?
Yes.
Oh. Think it's still time to steer him away.
Lillian.
So it's been 13 months since we've had a chance to see you compete. Just curious what the last year has been like in terms of training and preparing, and had you hoped to fight sooner? We're saying it's been 13 months since he's had a chance to fight. Just curious what has been going on in the last year, and if he had hoped to maybe fight sooner.
Gustavo 对，在过去这一年没有比赛，其实自己早就想要打比赛了，早就想要回到这个八角笼当中。
If this one works, he can sit here and use mine. Is he able to go up on the stage and use the mic up there?
Would you mind sitting up there with him on the stage next to him? Okay. Is that okay? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Say again?
His English isn't that good either.
It's fine. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can pass. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
It's okay. Thank you. Appreciate you trying. Thank you.
I think you guys could try it, honestly.
You should try it.
Yep. Yep. No, I can't. What happened to that other chair?
Just like simple questions are possible, that's all. When he gets so much of this,
Yeah. Yeah, will you take his chair for him? Okay.
One second.
可以啊，可以。你往这边再来点儿，想到这个。
So we can start again now that we have you up here. But I'll ask the same question. It's been 13 months since he's had a chance to compete. I'm just curious what this year has been like, and if he had hoped to compete sooner.
还是刚才那个问题，就是过去一年没有比赛啊，就是你是不是急切的想回来？
在过去这一年没有比赛，但是自己内心里边一直想要打比赛，一直有这个想要回到八角笼战斗的这种激情。
I haven't fight for more than 1 year. I'm hungry. I want to come back. Yeah.
What has the focus been in training? Sometimes people get better when they're not training for an opponent. What has the focus been?
你训练的焦点是什么？就是现在主要是加强哪些方面？
现在这一年没比赛，训练的焦点还是比较综合的。摔跤、柔术还有站立技术都有去练，还有就是像体能和力量练的也很多。
For the last year, he trained almost everything: wrestling, BJJ, striking, and the strength. The strength, yeah.
Is there one area he would feel he had the most improvement in the last year?
主要是哪一方面领域你觉得你进步的特别快、特别大？
应该还是在站立上训练的话会更有感觉，更有灵感吧。
The striking, yeah, it's.
And he gets Max Griffin as an opponent. What did he think about this matchup when he was paired with Max Griffin?
就跟格里芬这个配对，你觉得怎么样？
我觉得这是一个非常好的配对，也会是一场非常精彩的比赛，因为我们两个人肯定是非常有得打的。
He think the matchup is very good. It would be a very good fight. Yeah.
A win here would be 3 wins in a row, but there has been a lot of time. So I'm curious if he feels like he's starting over, or if he'll have the respect of that win streak.
Sorry.
Yeah. If he wins, it would be his 3rd win in a row.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time between wins. So does he feel like he would be a contender with a win, or does he feel like he's kind of starting over?
OK. 就是你现在如果要再赢的话，就3连胜了。但是这个隔的时间有点长嘛，每次比赛就是频率低嘛，就比赛时间长。你是觉得你是在这次就像3连胜一样再往上走，还是觉得是这次是重新来过呢？
就是中间隔了1年。
对，就这股势头，你是觉得是一鼓作气再往上走呢？3连胜呢，还是觉得因为比赛之间隔的时间长？
我觉得对于我来说，还是在一股气往上走，在冲击属于自己的3连胜，因为我还没有拿过3连胜。有一次北京站的时候就是失利了嘛，所以也吸取之前的教训，希望这次能够拿下3连胜。
那我就看着翻译了。He think it's his step by step to achieve his 3 win. He wants this so much. He will try his best. Yeah.
Last thing for me, I'm just curious, having a Chinese UFC champion, what that's done for him personally, or maybe other Chinese fighters, to have an idea of what can be possible. Did that change things for them to see Zhang Weili become a Chinese champion?
就是那个张伟丽不是成为冠军了嘛？这个对咱们来说有什么？就是也许是不是有想法上的一个冲击或者改变呢？或者有什么就是触动呢？或者是对咱们有什么变化啊？
那个像张伟丽她拿冠军，她给了我们更多的信心，因为她拿到冠军了，就证明我们中国的运动员水平还是正在进步的飞快，所以我也相信接下来还会出现属于中国的冠军。
The Zhang Weili become a champion. This inspires the Chinese fighters, make us more confident. Yeah, if she can achieve this, maybe there are more champions come out. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. You did good. You did good.
Thank you for helping.
You were more nervous than he is for the fight, huh? Thank you.
All right, Tracy, a little zoom in. right, that looks good, I reckon.
That's 6, right?
Left.
That's 6 so far.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've had 6. We got 5 left because we don't have it.
But at least we have Doritos back.
Bit of a break, or are they running the next
I think so. I think, well, you have a little bit. Half is on his way, but I can take it.
Okay, so it's like the.
It's no, it's good. I'm glad we could. Like, I feel bad because there's been guys like Oscar off, like they were like, just got, you know what I mean? So it's like good to get like at least what we can, so we can get a little bit of it, you know. So it's all good.
they doing their ENG stuff as well today?
Yeah.
Like all the guys that are coming over?
Everything. We're trying to monopolize our transportation coming over here.
Mhm.
You know.
Makes sense.
So next week will be media day and virtual media day here, so everyone.
Press conference next day.
Yep. Yep. It's like, that's like the pay-per-views are go like challenging because everything's here, so they're trying to like not have like a huge gap in between some things, but there's like some that you can't control, because there's like, you can't have the bonus here, crossing. I was like, Chelsea has like that mind-blown emoji, and I'm just like, yeah, but I feel really smart when I get like a nice flow, you know? And then when it's like actually perfect, you're
Welcome back. Always good to see you, sir. What up, John? Talk about your last victory. I was seeing an impressive one, and just kind of how big that moment was for your career. I mean, you know, you had the losses that people were talking about. So how big was that win for you?
Do I need this?
Please.
It was great, man. You know, if you looked at my career, I've had these close fights, these weird judges, these just split decisions, the blood, this little stuff. But I've always been in entertaining fights, close fights. I've never been whooped, and they've all been really good. So for me to put it all together, I'm happy that I'm still here and able to put it together. A lot of guys, they lose a couple and they're done. For me I finally figured it out now, and I'm still here, was able to enjoy myself this last fight, and I mean, go viral for knocking a man's ear off. So it was beautiful. Happy to be here.
I was going to say, how long did it take for you to get that visual out of your head? I mean, did you like wake up in the middle of the night, like in a cold sweat, dreaming of this dude's ear falling off in front of you?
I still get it, you know? When someone really talks about it, I still feel it. I mean, I seen inside of his head, and I kind of rode the wave, you know? I got an ear tattoo. I got ears, these stress ball ears that I'm passing out with my shirts, and it's part of it now.
You talked about figuring it out. What clicked? Because I do wonder about your career, man. I look at your career as a whole, and all those things that you said are true. I mean, you're far better than your record might indicate if somebody just looked at it. And you've been in some amazing fights. So what clicked, and what lessons did you have to learn along the way?
You know, I'd say my mental coach, I have a new mental coach, Danny Patterson. I got with him about a month and a half before my last fight. And he looked back at all my fights and said, hey, when you're having a good time, you're doing your best. Like the Mike Perry fight, I enjoyed that. So he's like, hey, these fights that you really enjoyed yourself, you need to enjoy yourself more. You know, we got the core values and being authentic. And me outside the cage, I'm cool, I'm funny, I'm the meme king, I have a lot of fun. I'm a cool guy. And then when, you get in the cage and you're all serious and mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm always mean, but I let it go. And about my losses too, I'm losing these fights. So there's a lot of pressure, bro. Being in there, you lost one in a row, you lost two, you lost one, you really didn't lose, but it's a loss. So it's pressure to win, and I put so much pressure on myself. And, I let it go. I love it. I'm in the UFC. It's a blessing, an honor. It's a dream. Like, it's exciting. It's not a bad thing. So when I let that go and had fun, the fruits of my labor showed on my last performance.
What's the key to achieving that relaxation, letting it go? Because, right, I mean, it is such a tense sport by nature, right? Like, every day you wake up and you're thinking of this dude that you got to meet on this Saturday night and all that stuff. And then you got the nerves in the locker room, the walkout. So, I mean, what's the key to achieving that relaxation?
I train like that. So we got my core values. It's authenticity, growth. It's these certain things, and I trained like that, right? You fight how you train. So there's these circumstances when I'm training with these high-level guys, Slava, these guys that are world-class K1 champions and world-class grapplers, like, really. And it's all serious. And then once I started, literally, hey, this is fun. And, stuff went slower. I started landing more. I was more successful in training. Like, whoa, hold on. I'm having fun training. I mean, I always had fun training, but more fun, telling myself, you're having fun right now. And I was successful. So I did that for months, and it's been, months since that I've been doing that. We've added different tools and being accountable. You got to be accountable. You got to look yourself in the face. We did a thing called the 3-on-3, so, you train, and then it's like a report after your training, your whole night. 3 things I did well, 3 things I need to work on. You just got to be accountable, and you need to keep working. It's not, you don't know everything, and, say I landed a couple shots. Oh, I got taken down once. So you need to be constantly rechecking and evaluating yourself and doing the right things and leaving no stone unturned. And that's what I've been working on, leaving no stone unturned from that stuff, from particular training. I mean, my team, we're built around whenever we're training. The Jim has it at MMA Gold where it's built around me. We're doing, everyone knows, Max is fighting. The game plan we're doing is all about Max. We're bringing in particular guys, singeing certain guys of the same height, throwing the same combinations. So it's getting really particular in how I'm doing it. I'm adding breath work in, kind of like the Wim Hof kind of stuff. My guy Noah and from Hawaii that I met on Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app's popping, and I met some people on there. But I'm trying to do everything, and it's a beautiful thing, bro.
That's awesome, man. So I was going to ask you about like the matchup, because I mean you fought like all these names in your career. I was going to ask you what you thought about the matchup, but it almost sounds like it doesn't even matter. Like you're really just focused on you every day.
Totally. He's just another guy. You know, to be honest, when I first heard the name, you know, I thought I was going to get some big guy, and then I got him. It was like, oh, okay. But I have a couple more fights on my contract. My manager, Dave Hirschbein, was like, hey, beat this guy, and then we'll renegotiate. And then, you know, they're getting a deal on you right now, Max. They're getting a deal. I mean, I make good money, but you could be making a lot more. Beat this guy. And, you know, he's like, you don't want to fight Robbie Lawler on this money. You want to get your new contract and then go after these top 15 guys and offer their heads, you know? So I'm cool with that. And, you know, I did like the guy. They wanted me to fight on March 6th, actually. But I had my son. My son was supposed to be born February 19th. He ended up coming the 27th, so he's like 2 weeks old. And my lady was like, oh, you're not fighting the 6th, you know, just in case he was late or early. But I said, hey, can I fight Kenan like in January or February early? They said, no, how about March 20th? So I said, yeah. So it's a blessing, you know. The fight would have got buried on that March 6th card. Now I'm on a main card on ESPN. And I love it. I love it. I love it, bro. So thankful. I can't wait.
Congrats on the birth. Last thing for me. So what is the goal here, right? I mean, like I said, you've been in these crazy brawls and, you know, come up short on some cards, that sort of thing. So is this about going out there and being that same exciting guy, or is this about going out there and maybe being a little different, but making sure, you know, everything gets executed properly and there's no mistakes?
I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to go have fun. This guy's made for me. I mean, everyone's made for me, I feel. You know, when I'm on my game, like, I'm unstoppable. And I mean that. Like, I look back at my last fight that night. I went back, and it was in slow motion to me when I fought, and then I got back to the hotel, and I looked so good. I was so fast and crisp and on and just vicious. And, I mean, just my cardio and everything in between rounds, Jim's like, just more volume, you know. It's basic stuff. I'm sipping. I'm talking to them like I was talking to you guys right now. It just felt so regular. And, you know, I had fun walking out, and it really did a difference. Like, for me to have that kind of performance after all these performances, I know how good I am. Like, I know. But for me to actually show it and show the world, and now I'm on this huge stage to show again, and I'm better than last time. Believe it or not, I'm better, bro. So, I can't wait.
What's up, man? You mentioned this newfound sort of ability to leave no stone unturned and in your preparation and really taking yourself accountable. But do you think you had to be at this stage of your career to be able to do that, right? If you're a younger guy, younger men, you know, it's harder for them to really look inside and see what they're doing wrong and right. So do you think you had to get to this point to be able to start doing this?
I had to. If I've been through so many close fights, bro, like, I had to. I wouldn't take any of these fights back. None of these fights back. Every loss, every close fight, every win, every fight of the night, like, I needed it all. In every fight, I learned something different. Learn another piece. And, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at now if I didn't have exactly the road that I've had.
Last thing from me, I just wanted to know, what did the tattooist say when you went to get an ear tattooed on you?
Well, it's my tattooer, Tattoo Trees, out of Sacramento at Imperious Rex. He was stoked. Him and his buddy drew it up, and I put it on the edge of my samurai sword. You try to find a good place to put it, and it's perfect. I had to, you know, tattoos mean something, and, you know, I see people looking at me in the store and, like, looking, like, ladies, like, they don't say anything, but sometimes they do, and I'm like, yeah, I chopped this guy's ear off. They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, for real. Like, look, I'll show them. They're like, so yeah, you know, it is what it is, and I'm proud of it.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? You sneaking in over there. How you doing, man?
You need a picture of me, Jam, up here?
It's a nice shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah, another coach. That's Right, your first fight in Vegas. I'm just curious. I mean, I'm sure this isn't exactly the circumstances you were dreaming about, thinking about the fight capital of the world someday. But I mean, is this experience or the fight itself special?
Yeah, man. Like everything this week is special now because I'm like co-main event, fighting a ranked guy. I get to fight in Vegas, and that's 3 pretty cool things. And like I didn't find out I was co-main event until I landed, so I was like, man, that sort of kicked off the fight week pretty cool. So yeah, man, I'm loving it so far.
Awesome. I know you've spent some time out here with some of your teammates. Did that prove beneficial at all in terms of like knowing exactly what to expect with this whole COVID situation?
Yeah, like I came here with Carlos, so I've seen the list before, and I've seen the cage. I know it's a bit smaller, and I've been to Vegas with Israel and with Alex for their bigger fights. So there's nothing new, to be honest. Yeah.
Certainly your experience to combat sports, but I mean, were you expecting a ranked opponent this time out? Did you feel like you had done enough to earn this type of opportunity?
I feel like I had. I wasn't sure if they were going to give me one, so I'm pretty happy that they have. And I know a lot of people didn't want to fight Gregor, so I was more than keen. I'll throw me that bone. I'll eat it.
I was kind of curious if you wanted to fight him, right? Because on the one, like, how did you think when they gave you this name? How did you see it? Because on the one hand, right, like he's got incredible grappling, which might seem to be tough for you. On the other hand, you know that your striking is probably leaps and bounds above his. So, how did you see it when they gave it to you?
Well, we're like polar opposites, right? It's sort of like who gets the better with their skill first. And like I've said in the past, I believe that learning like years and years of striking. I'm definitely not saying wrestling, but I'm saying I think it's far easier to learn how to get up and get back to striking than try catch up to a very, very high level striker. So that's a big focus of mine. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to fight Gregor and see where my wrestling is against like an All-American. I mean, that's like the pinnacle here, and it's going to be cool to test myself against that. And he's a gamer, he's not a dickhead of a guy. He seems like a good bloke, and he just goes in there and competes, and that's what I do. So I'm pretty keen to butt heads with him. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, stylistically, it'd be a lot of fun. As you said, co-main ESPN, it's a big deal, but you've seen stadiums and such too. So I mean, on fight night, does it feel like a big deal? I mean, leading up to it, you realize it, but on fight night, does it feel like a big moment?
On fight night, I honestly just have I just have tunnel vision, and that's just getting in there and beating Gregor. Up until then, I enjoy everything, and I look forward to weighing in and, eating and stuff after that. But yeah, just one goal on that day, one goal.
Do you think about where this would put you? I mean, you're still so early in your UFC career. This is a big win over a guy with a reputation. So I mean, this early in your UFC run, do you feel like people need to be talking about you as top 10, top 5 contender, that type of stuff?
Well, after the weekend, yeah. After the weekend, yes. So I'll get this win, and then against a wrestler of that caliber, it's going to make a lot of people above me in those rankings pretty nervous, I think.
Nice. Last thing for me, I'm just curious, kind of what kind of fight you do see playing out, right? Because as you said, polar opposites. On the one hand, you could go out and do something spectacular, performance of the night worthy. On the other hand, you might have to really be tested and grind and battle. So when you play this thing out in your head, which one of those scenarios do you think is true?
Well, I'm fully prepared for both. You know what I mean? I spent a camp preparing for the best Gregor, and the best Gregor is Gregor getting you down and keeping you down. So I'm obviously going to avoid that at all costs and stick to my bread and butter. But yeah, man, it's going to be cool.
Hey, man. When Gregor was out here earlier, he was saying he's gotten so much criticism after the Kevin Lee fight.
Yeah.
Do you think going into this, fans are completely underestimating just how good this guy is.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, people seem to forget, or when I say that, fans seem to forget that in the sport, somebody wins and somebody loses, and everybody trains hard at this level. All of us train as hard as we can every day, and it's who steps in there on the night and has that little 1% extra. And Kevin Lee had it that night. It was pretty early in the fight, if I remember, that he got knocked out, right? So yeah, I don't think he deserves criticism. I mean, look what he did before that. It's just the fans being fans, man. They just like to chew people up sometimes, and unfortunately it was Gregor. But yeah, this could be beneficial or detrimental, that loss for him. Beneficial in the way that it could make him very hungry to get back to where he was. Detrimental that he's fighting another high-level striker and he got knocked out striking. So I prepared for the best Gregor, and we'll see which one comes up.
Do you look at the strike Kevin Lee landed, which I think was a left hook, and think, well, that's an opening, or do you think, well, he's obviously going to go away and work on that defense?
Nah, it was an overhand right, left high kick. Yeah, I was like, he slipped. Yeah, I'm sure he's worked on it. I'm sure that's in his mind. But I see other holes. So and luckily I have a huge arsenal of things to use in striking. So yeah, does that answer the question? Yeah. So
what's your travel situation?
Going home. Yeah, everyone wants to know about that, eh? I'm here 5 weeks, including the 2 weeks of quarantine at home. So I'm here for Alex next week, and Shane, support them, and Jamie. And then I leave April 3rd and get home and do my 2 weeks. I was originally leaving April 10th, but I managed to jump online the other day and grab an earlier voucher. So I get home 8 days earlier now, which is, I'm stoked about that.
Do you guys ever compare who's got to stay away from home?
Nah, man, because it sucks. It sucks being away that long. My last one was 9 weeks, and it was like the end of my partner's pregnancy. So I was panicking. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss the birth of my kid. And she managed to find us a voucher a home a little earlier. So I got out of quarantine in New Zealand just before my daughter was born. And so, yeah, staying away, especially now, my daughter's 7 weeks old, it pisses me off. I feel like there's definitely a better solution to this from my government, and I feel like they need to work that out. Especially when we're going away and representing the country, and then where you got to pay to come home. I'm not going to start on that, but
who does the silver fern belong to?
It belongs to the country. It belongs to anyone that represents that country and they're proud of their country and they want to go out there and show that we are in the world. We're way down the bottom, but we're still in the world. So the silver fern belongs to all of us. It belongs to the land, like it's a native plant. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Yeah. Cool. Cheers.
counter right now. Oh, it's right there.
Can we slide you this way? That works. Good, thank you.
Congratulations on making it to the UFC. I know it's just the first step, but how does it feel so far?
Felicidades en llegar al UFC. Sabemos que este es el primer paso, pero ¿cómo te sientes?
Muchas gracias por darme la oportunidad. Me siento muy contenta, muy feliz. Es algo que he estado esperando por mucho tiempo y estoy ansiosa de demostrar lo que he trabajado el día del sábado.
Thank you so much. She feels so grateful for the opportunity, and she can't wait to show up what she's been waiting for all this time, and she's so happy to have this opportunity.
Yeah. This is the moment that fighters dream about, making it to the UFC, and understandably excited. But are there nerves as well? Is there any fear ahead of a moment like this?
Este es un momento que todos los peleadores tienen mucha emoción de llegar al UFC, pero también hay miedo, hay muchas emociones. ¿Cómo te sientes tú?
Pues yo creo que no tengo miedo ni nervios, como que es más la emoción de que ya voy a debutar y de que voy a pelear, de que tengo esa hambre ya de pelear. Y yo creo que hasta el momento en que ya no me subo a la jaula, yo creo que ahí van a empezar los nervios, pero pues por el momento estoy tranquila y estoy muy feliz.
More than fear, I feel anxious to step into the cage and start fighting. Probably at the moment that I step into the cage, I start feeling a little nerves. But so far, I feel more like anxious and happy to be competing and fighting.
Nice. Obviously, the career started out undefeated, but then they had the loss in 2018. I'm curious, kind of what the thought was then. Did you think that the UFC was a long way away at that point? Or even after the loss, did you think, no, I can get there pretty quickly?
Después empezaste tu carrera invicta en 8 peleas y luego después caíste en Invicta FC. Cuando perdiste, ¿pensaste que estabas muy lejos de llegar al UFC o que iba a llegar pronto esa llamada? ¿Cómo te sentías después de esa derrota que rompió tu invicto?
Pues no, nunca pensé que iba a estar lejos de entrar al UFC, simplemente fue una derrota que no fue favorable para mí. Todos tenemos malas noches, malos días, entonces eso me ayudó a enfocarme más, a mentalizarme más en querer llegar al UFC. Entonces eso fue lo que me dio como el sentón de que, mira, estamos aquí, prepárate porque viene algo más fuerte. Entonces yo creo que fue lo mejor que me pudo haber pasado para entrar en enfoque.
I think that loss was one of the best things that can happen in my career because it made me touch the bottom and then I realized how good I want this. I knew that UFC wasn't that far away, but I knew that I have to work on something. So that loss, it wasn't something like a really, really bad in my career because I know that everybody has some bad days and bad nights, especially the fighters. So it was one of those for her, but it helped her a lot to improve and keep focusing that her main goal was to make it to the UFC.
And how did the call come? I mean, was she expecting to get the invitation or was it a surprise? What was that moment like?
¿Cómo te avisaron? ¿Ya esperabas? ¿Fue una sorpresa? ¿Cómo fue la invitación al UFC?
Pues fue una sorpresa, realmente acaba de llegar de correr, estaba desayunando y mi maestro Víctor Dávila salió de la habitación y literal salió en boxer y me dice, hey, conejo, vas a debutar en UFC. Y yo, ¿qué? No me lo creía, fue algo como que no me lo esperaba y le decía, no me lo creo hasta que no firme el contrato, pero fue algo súper emocionante, la verdad es que no se explica esa emoción.
That day she had a little run in the morning and she just had breakfast and then her coach, which is me, we're roommates. So I just walk out from my room like jumping in boxers, literally, because I don't wear boxers around the house, because because of respect. But anyways, I was so excited. Conejo, you're fighting the UFC. And she was, no way, yes way, no way, yes way, I'm telling you. So, and then she got too excited, and then she said she didn't want to be too excited until she signed the contract. So that eventually happened, and now it's a reality that she's here.
That's awesome. I'm sure she would have fought anybody, but what does she think about the matchup she got? Is it one that she likes or that she thinks is good for her?
Sabemos que pelearías contra quien sea, pero ¿qué piensas de tu matchup contra el oponente que te va a tocar enfrentar?
Yo creo que mejor peleadora no me pudo haber tocado. Las dos vamos a debutar y de lo poco que sé es una chica que es cinta negra en taekwondo. Entonces yo creo que va a ser un choque de peleas, va a ser una guerra con mi estilo de lucha. Y pues yo sé que a ella le gusta ir para enfrente, pero a mí también me gusta ir para enfrente. Entonces yo creo que va a ser una pelea brutal.
I think it's a perfect matchup. I know she's a black belt on Taekwondo and she likes to go forward, but so am I. I like to go forward. I have a good wrestling background, and I know this is going to be a good fight and a good war.
She was here earlier today, and we learned, which I didn't know, that she's good friends with Emily Ducote. So when she was supposed to fight her, she was actually imitating her in training camp. Did she know that, and did she think that gives her any advantage?
Ella es amiga de Emily Ducote y estuvieron entrenando como simulando tu estilo de pelea. ¿Sabías eso y qué opinas de eso?
Sí, en cuanto me dijeron que iba a pelear con ella, yo sabía que era su compañera y entonces fue como que a huevo, pues si no pude pelear contra Emily, pues le va a tocar lo que no le tocó a Emily, le va a tocar a ella.
Yeah, as soon as I heard she was my opponent, I was thinking, you know what? The one that I was reserving for Emily, she's going to get it because they're training together. So it's like...
That's awesome. Last thing for me, give me an idea what the goal is here. Obviously, the goal is to win, but do you feel like you could come in and make like an immediate impact in the division and start talking, about titles right away, or is this kind of a slow progression? What's the plan?
Se sabe que el objetivo es la victoria, pero ¿qué quieres hacer? Llegar y dejar un impacto fuerte, que se deje una buena imagen tuya, que vas a llegar a ser campeona o que llegaste para quedarte. ¿Cuál es el escenario que ves tú, aunque se sabe que la victoria pues es lo que más quieres?
Pues principalmente es llegar y someter, que todos vean que vengo de una excelente escuela, 15 MMA Team Planet, y más que nada que vean todo el trabajo que he hecho con mi maestro Víctor Dávila, pero si en cualquier momento no se da las circunstancias, es matar o morir, es un tiro.
Well, pretty much I want to show my skills, what I've been learning with my teams, 15 MMA and 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu and my coach, and this is a kill or die. And this tiro is a tiro. I don't know, say a fight is a fight. Probably you can say that in English, translate that, but it's done in Spanish. It's like a special more sense. Tiro es a tiro. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Vic. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
This MMA thing's pretty easy, right? You just go in, knock people out in the first round, call it a day. I mean, it's kind of an easy career, right?
Oh yeah, man, I'm loving it. I love it better than working a day job, man. So to me, man, if I can do that every single time, that's amazing. Plus the extra 50, is always great. At a regular job, you get overtime, but they tax it. So I'm like, all right, well, you can't do much with it, but another 50 G's, all right, I can do something with this.
I was going to ask you. I mean, I always like it when kind of younger fighters get that performance bonus. I mean, I know it's not. You can't retire, it's life-changing money, but did it impact, your life on a day-to-day basis?
Oh yeah, like it legitimately helped me commit to MMA full time. Like it really it really just helped change my life and everything. Like, and just in that sense, you know, I'm able to go out there and perform like how I want to perform. Like, you know, this whole training camp has been like one of the best I've ever had. You know, it's like just being able to commit. Like that was my biggest problem, like with fighting and working a full-time job is like, you know, I was able to have the performances on a full-time job, but also doing MMA part-time. Like just like so, like I was able to do that like in the Contender Series. That I was still working a full-time job, and then when I fought in October, I was still working a full-time job all up until fight week. I had like put my 2 weeks notice before fight week, and then on fight week, like legitimately that was it. So this is my first time actually like training a full training camp. You know, just to be able to come here. So it's pretty cool, man. It's really, really cool.
What's the biggest difference? I mean, obviously you get more time, and I'm sure recovery is huge as well because you're not having to go work. But what would you say is the biggest, I guess, improvement out of having your situation now?
Oh man, a lot more technique, a lot more stuff to learn, a lot more like conditioning that you're able to do. Like I wasn't able to implement strength and conditioning into my regimen for a long time. I wasn't able to get enough rest. You know, it was just a lot, you know, and then also the stress levels have went like a lot down because, man, like my schedule was working, like the schedule that they had at one point was literally we're working 410s and I would be able to get off on Friday, but I'd have to show up at like 6:30 and then get off at 5:30, and training starts at 6, and where my gym was located, I had to drive, you know, like 45 minutes, so I had to get there within 30 minutes. So I broke a couple laws just trying to get to training. So I'd always be that last guy in the cage, like scrambling and everything. So like, it's a blessing that everything has happened the way it's happened, man. Because it's just helped me out. It has helped me like just completely just like commit. So that was the biggest thing.
Yeah. It sounds like you're using the money wisely to invest in yourself, but I got to ask. I know I've never seen 50 grand hit my bank account at any one particular moment. Was there you know a thought like, hey, let's go out and buy this, spend that, party here?
Oh no, man! I looked at it and it hit my bank account. And I was just like, whenever I opened up my my banking app, I just opened it up. I was like, oh, all right. I have never seen this type of money. Like I wasn't even making that a year at my day job. I was like, I wasn't even making that type of money. And so for me to see that like that, I was like, wow, dude, this is amazing. This fighting stuff can pay off if you really put into it. So honestly, after the fight, like it was just more just food, man. Like it was all food. I just kind of just ate junk, man. So that was the biggest thing. So not really the biggest spender. You know, I'm the guy that likes to wear the plain clothes. You know, I'm Reebokked everything out right now. So like, of course, like the Reebok stuff is cool. So man, I keep it simple, man. I want to invest it. I want to be able to provide for myself after fighting. So this is a good thing for me. This is a really good thing for me, and I'll be able to hopefully, you know, like with my career, I'm able to build up on those bonuses. You know, I want the record for bonuses. You know, because an extra 50K is always great.
As the career progresses, are you okay with the baby Masvidal comparisons, or are you hoping to leave that behind?
Oh man, any comparisons is good, man. But at the same time, like I'm my own person. You know, I'm Yanez. You know, I'm Adrian Yanez. So I'm gonna go out there and just try to, you know, show everybody that I'm me. You know, of course, it's always gonna draw back to the baby Masvidal, mini Masvidal stuff. You know, it's cool. You know, it's real cool. You know, especially like the type of fighter he is. Like I love that type of fighter. I love the fighting that he has, you know, and the way he performs, you know, it's always good to me. And I always like seen it, and I've always like really been a big fan of that type of style. So I like me loving that style just to get that comparison to have that fight style. Like to me, it's really cool. So like I'm blessed to have it, but also, you know, I'm Adrian Yanez and I fight like Adrian Yanez.
I like it. Well, I'm sure somebody's going to get past the first round with you eventually, but is it this guy? What did you think about this matchup when they gave it to you?
Oh, man, when they gave it to me, I immediately liked it because I was already keeping a close eye, like especially in the regional scene. I've always looked at 35ers all around. I already knew who I was going to have to be facing, so he was on the regional scene. I think he was with Combate Americas and everything, and I've got offered to fight with them once, and I think I went with somebody else. You know, I think I took another thing, and I just didn't fight. But But yeah, I've been watching him. So I've been watching him for a very good time. He's a tough guy. Like I know he was up here, just like kind of being very like he was real fired up. And I get sometimes you have to get like that if you're fighting and you're a fighter. Of course, you know me. I'm cool, calm, and I'm very collected. You know, I think before I speak, and you know, it's gonna bite him in the mouth. You know, he's gonna like. When he goes in there and he's like, who has he fought? Who has he fought? Like, oh, like, okay, well, once I knock you out, everybody's going to be like, well, who have you fought? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Y'all got to go out there and like make the statement. So I was like, so to me, I know he's a tough guy. He's a really tough opponent. And like, I'm excited because like he's a Mexican fighter, Mexican pure blood fighter. So anytime you gotten two Mexicans in the cage, you know, they go out there and they just have a brawl. And, you know, that's exactly at the end of the day, like, I've always loved those type of brawls, you know, like my fight in LFA when I fought Kyle Estrada, you know, to me that was like one of the funnest fights, even though it hurt afterwards. But during those moments, you're able to dig deep and able to go out there and just find out more about yourself, especially after the fight. You learn a little bit more about yourself, so it's real cool. But Gustavo, man, hey, look. Whatever they're saying about the hype and all that stuff, you know, you can like he's like thinking about this and he's how can I say it? He's reading too much into it, man. All this can be gone one day. So like, hey, look, just enjoy it while you're here, man. You're getting fired up over people's opinions. So hey, you know, we're gonna go out there at the end of the day and we're still gonna have to fight. So hey, it doesn't matter to me whether I got the hype or not. So.
Well, no, it's funny because he was definitely fired up. I think that's a good. But now that we know that you've seen those comments, I mean, does it make it personal, or did it get you fired up a little bit, or under your skin at all?
No, man. At first, I was just like a little bit shocked. I was like, "Oh, where's all this hostility coming from?" And I was like, every single time we go in, like I'm talking about an interview, like, "Nah, he's a tough fighter." I was like, you know. But some people had to get themselves fired up. You know, I like honestly and truly, I do respect the guy. I do respect his skills. You know, I like even myself right now. Like I know he was saying, "Who has he fought?" Like, of course, I have those thoughts in my head all the time. Who have I fought? I was like, and. This is why, like, I'm here in the UFC. I want to fight everybody, and it's one of those things for me that I just know is like the next guy's gonna be who I fought, and also at the same time, for myself, I'm always thinking is like I want to be at the top of the killers, so I want to be able to like when you look back at my resume, be like, oh, he fought all these guys, so you know. At the end of the day, like whenever it's me and Gustavo, I go out there and get my hand raised. He's gonna be a part of my record, and he's gonna be like to me, he's a notch in my belt. Like he's a big notch in my belt because he's tough, he's gritty. Like he won a belt in another organization, and then like I've seen him get dropped, but he comes back up and he still pushes forward. So like I respect the guy and I respect like how like his fighting style and he doesn't quit. But I'm gonna put him out with a shot where he doesn't get back up.
Last thing for me, then that might be. I was going to ask you what you see. I mean, do you feel like you need to go out there and do something? You know, make a statement again, or how do you, or is it just about winning?
Oh, to me, it's just about the winning. It doesn't matter how it happens or when it comes. You know, it's just a matter of getting that W. You know, like I said, like I know he said hope. Like he's like, oh, he's hoping to knock me out. I was like, yeah, of course, I'm hoping to knock you out. But at the same time, I know what I have in front of me. I know if I hit him with a shot, you know, and he drops. He has the ability to get back up and still fight with a clear mind. So I take a look at that and I know what I'm looking at. I know what I look at before I go into the cage and before I go into a war, you know, and I'm ready to go to war with him. But at the same time, if he gets hit with a headshot, you know, and he falls out, then hey, that's completely great with me too.
Were you just surprised when you heard his comments? Was that the main takeaway? Like,
yeah, more surprised, but at the same time, it's just one of those things that some fighters had to build this whole like mentality in their head, and to me, it's like it's different strokes for different folks. You know, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'm collected. It really doesn't bother me. It really doesn't faze me. You know, so because I know at one point at the end of the day, all this can be gone. All this can be like thrown away. So to me, I just look at this and I'm like, dude, I'm just happy to be a part of this, to be a part of history. So. To me, it's just goes right over my head.
Does it give you any insight at all into how he might be feeling? Do you think like, oh, if he's acting like this 2 days before the fight, he's going to come at me really hard in the first round? Does it give you any sort of insight, or you just?
It gives me some insight, but also some people like to play face and just try to be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then next thing you know, they don't do it. So, to to me, it's whatever. Like, cause as soon as we step in that cage, he's gonna he could have worked on something so long in the training camp, but then he's in there and he just starts remembering like my last 2 fights. I knocked this guy out with the head kick, and I knocked this guy out with the punches. And he's gonna look at that and he's like, I have to be very careful. Like in training camp, you can do whatever you want, do it like you can drill so many things, but until you're in that fight, it's a different aspect, different feeling.
I'm sure 50 grand in the bank account feels different, but have you felt difference in your day-to-day life from the public? You had a quality knockout. Have you felt like different fan reactions? Man, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I've gotten like the hype. Like the biggest thing is like I've gotten the hype that like everybody's speaking of, but I don't feel it. I just continue just to keep living my day to day. I don't really think too much about it because it's on to the next one. It's cool that they're like keep reposting the knockouts, keep reposting all this stuff. It's real cool, and I love the fans. I love the support. It's always great to have like a great support system. But at the end of the day, like I said, like I'll keep going. All this can be gone. So it's just one of those things that I just keep living my life day to day. And I know what I had to do whenever I step inside the octagon is I had to go out there and I had to perform. And that's my biggest thing is just performing. Last thing from me, are you obligated to pick Masvidal against Usman now?
Oh, absolutely. I have to kind of now. Like they branded me Mini Masvidal, so of course, I have to go for him. If I go for Kamaru Usman, that's against my brand. So hey. Okay, cool. Thank y'all so much.
What's up?
Derek, stop me if you've heard this one before, but you're the underdog against the younger opponent. Everybody's counting you out against the up and coming star. What do you feel like when you find yourself in this situation? I mean, do you ever feel like, why are people just not giving me the respect I deserve?
It is what it is. I'm always in like a weird spot. I don't know, man. I've done a lot in my career, and I've had a lot of great wins, and I've been here for a long time, and I've seen guys who are really good not make it this long or whatever, So it is what it is. I always accredit that to like that's my own foolishness. I went into some fights and been a little too aggressive, and I could have had better moments in those fights, and I didn't. And it always put me in this weird spot, but I've always stayed relevant, So and I'm still here, relevant in these big fights.
Do you kind of enter with a chip on your shoulder ever? Do you almost enjoy it, like relish it? Like, I'm going to prove to these people, that don't give me the respect I deserve or that doubt me.
I'm always looking for like self-approval. So like, you can never make people happy or the fans happy. Like the fans in this sport, they're a little different from other sports. 1 minute you go out there and knock somebody out, they're like, oh man, this is the greatest thing. And then, let's say the next fight you go out there and it's not so exciting. They're like, oh, you suck, So it's like, whoa, man, this is like super bipolar, super weird. So I'm just more focused on myself and like bettering myself and making sure that I'm at the top of my game and getting better each fight.
Yeah. And I think most people would say you are right now, right? I mean, despite how long you've been in the game, this might be the best that you're ever performing. So what do you attribute that to? I mean, is it something physically, tactically, mentally? What do you attribute your success right now?
I always had it in me. I was just, not patient, always rushing, it's fights, even the Whitaker fight. Let's go back to that. I was the favorite in that fight, and I went out there and I'm like, I felt like I had the mental edge, and then I just went out there and just rush. And, a lot of fights, even let's go to Romero fight. I was winning the whole fight and he caught me with like a minute left. I would have won 30-27, So it's like, I've had an Anderson Silva fight. I won that fight, you know, and I got robbery of the year by, you know, 3 different MMA outlets. You know, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of those moments, some unluck, and just, you know, sometimes my fault also. So it's just all about putting together and fighting right at the right time.
Yeah. So Kevin asked for this fight, and you were willing to take it. I know you guys had a little bit of a history together. Was that why you were willing to take it, or what was it that appealed to you?
It was just another guy that, you know, had a lot of hype. There was opportunity for me to take out. I was offered a guy that was in the top 10, and I turned it down because I was looking for a top 5, and I kept asking for a top 5 guy. And then the last thing is like, well, Holland's available. I'm like, oh. So I'm talking with my manager. I'm like, okay, well, if we don't take this fight, then who's left? And they're like, we're looking around. Like, we asked for everybody, so nobody. So, you know, this was the fight to make, you know. So I get up for any fight. I'm excited for any fight, you know. Every fight is a different challenge, and, you know, I'm always for it.
Nice. I'm curious if, like, mentally you had to approach this one a little bit different, right? Because you said it, you know, you've been a little too aggressive sometimes, or a little too reckless sometimes. And, you know, I think about, like, with Adesanya, you guys kind of went at it and it got kind of personal. I think Kevin would probably like to make it personal with you. Like,
yeah.
Is it personal, or have you had to make sure, like, I can't let this get personal?
He tried so many times to make it personal. But I'm laughing because I'm like, okay, you can say as much as you want to, but at the end of the day, like, the way that I fought Izzy, I mean, even look at that fight. A lot of people are like, you got destroyed, but really, I did it. Like, the fight, I would have won the first round. It was 30 seconds left. My hands got caught up on his shorts. They broke us. I shot right back in, very predictable, and he kneed me. And then he caught me with, you know, he was able to get the finish there. But it's not like I was getting picked apart the whole fight. But it's moments in the fight where I didn't make great decisions, you know. So, yeah, Hollins would like to make it personal. He would like to follow the same thing Izzy did with the hype. And it's funny, he's using the exact same thing Izzy said. He's calling me bum son. It's like, bro, Izzy said the exact same thing. You're trying to do exactly what he did. So I haven't been engaging with him in that fact because I'm going to fight the way that I've been fighting my previous couple fights. You know, I'm going to look to knock you out regardless. You know, so like, I'm not going to be satisfied unless I trap your arms and I just dominate you and TKO you. So, like, you know, that's how the fight is going to go. No matter what's said or how it's said or how much trash you talk or I talk, you know, it's not gonna change the way that the fight.
Last thing for me, it's crazy. I mean, those names you were just rattling off. I mean, you fought everybody. It's insane. There's a lot of big fights going on in this division right now, right? So, I mean, have you guys sat down and strategized? I mean, I know you don't want to look past this at all, but it feels like there's going to be some big opportunities real soon. So, a win here, what do you think you deserve?
My goal has always to get that title shot, you know, and I've been right there, but I haven't. It's been twice, you know. If I would have won those fights, I would have got title shots, you know. But I didn't do that. I didn't perform well. I was a little too aggressive. So, yeah, take care of this fight, and a big fight is right there, you know. I wouldn't even be opposed to a title shot, you know. I'll be a 4-fight winning streak. A lot of other guys. Whitaker's on a huge streak, so obviously he deserves it most, but, you know, Costa don't deserve it, you know. And even guys like that, I asked to fight him, and I was trying to fight Costa, and his thing was he was injured until a certain date, but he was asking for other fights a certain date, you know. It's like, what do you do, you know? So, like I said, I'm aiming for the stars, and I keep taking care of these guys that, you know, are next in line for title shots, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, why not me?
You mentioned that you're not letting Kevin Holland just get to you this time. You're not playing into it. But what do you think of his sort of whole persona and shtick? What do you think of it all?
I don't care. I mean, he does what he needs to do. If that's what he feel he needs to do to stay around, to stay relevant, to march up, you know, I look at like a guy like Rumble Johnson. He didn't talk. He knocked people's teeth out, and he got 2 title shots. He might have even got a title shot coming off of, maybe he won a fight and then got another title shot. But, you know, everybody have different ways of getting to the top, you know. So if he want to talk, that's fine, you know. But like I said, it's not gonna bother me. It's not gonna stop the way that I fight.
Is there some sort of confidence going into this fight that if you win on Saturday, like those top 5 guys who never seem to say yes to you can't say no anymore?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's no other alternative at this point, you know. They'll have to give me the fight that I want, you know, that's going to catapult me to, you know, that title shot.
Costa's out of his fight now. Is that, you said you called him already. Could that be?
I don't even know. I don't even know I want to fight Costa anymore. You know, I asked to fight him, and it was just all types of excuses that I couldn't fight. You know, and then all of a sudden it's like he asking for fights on the same day. You know, so like I said, I'm looking to jump these guys. If they don't want to fight me, then you know you're asking for a title shot after you just lost a title shot. You know, pretty handedly. It's like that don't even really make sense. You know, so yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, first things first is this Saturday, and then yeah, for sure, yeah, we're aiming for something bigger for sure.
It's funny, right? Because if you come out and say, like, get a first-round KO, and then Till and Vittori do a 5-round boring decision, and then Whitaker and Gastelum do a 5-round boring decision, suddenly you're right there, right? Does that play in your mind?
Absolutely. You know, I'm on a huge streak. I fought It's like this. Fans can say, any media can say, you can say, oh, you lost this guy, but like everybody loses to everybody at the top unless you're the champion. And then if you lose your belt, then you lose to other people too. So everybody fight the same type of guys. You know, it's just guys sometimes fight a smarter, strategic way to get to a title fight or to get the title. But like, you know, everybody have to fight each other. Rematches have to go on. There's been guys who fought. Like, who was that? Junior Dos Santos, Velasquez, they fought the first time. I think JDS knocked him out. They rematched 2 years, 3 years later, and what happened? It was he got dominated for 5 rounds. Kane won, you know? So, like, you know, that can take place, you know? So that's it. All right, thank you, guys.